so the state make sure in the state to make sure that we have really gotten our groundwork done there, because once you leave your state, you're no longer local, or you're
Good
not
point.
as
And I saw
local.
that you guys were the first estate distillery in Illinois. Is that correct?
And as defined by the American Distilling Institute, we're the second in the United States. And
Wow.
Frey Ranch in Reno,
Wow.
Nevada, or outside of Reno, Nevada, was the first.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm seeing a lot of fans are from Illinois. I didn't realize Tim Evans was from Illinois, but Tim says great pours here. Yes, he is a fan. And Cheech is dropping the Sealbox link if any of you guys want to check out their products there if they ship to you. 21090 says we will find you on Sealbox, and they are out of DC, so I can drive to pick it up. Even better.
Thank you, guys.
So I poured the bottle in bond. Now I saw Fred was asking a really good question, which Fred, I will get to your question, and Donna, your question is kind of related to Fred's. The bottle and bond, what other than following the obvious distinctions of bottle and bond, is this an older expression compared to the straight bourbon? Is it about the same age?
It is the same exact mash bill. Okay. It's just between 1 and 2 years older, and higher proof. So basically, if you nose this, you will actually get a little less of that grain forward, and you're going to get a little bit more of the barrel. But beyond that, everything else is going to be the same, but more. So you're going to get deeper tones. You're going to get more sweetness. You're going to get more. It's more viscous to me. It's our straight rye or straight bourbon on steroids.
I was going to say, so I've only nosed it so far. But to me, it goes, like you said, darker. That word really resonates, because to me, I'm getting like a maybe like a milk chocolate, or there's something like deep and dark, like maybe even caramel, that I'm getting on the nose of this that I wasn't getting as much as that. And I think, like you said, that's coming from the barrel, the older age. So I haven't tried it yet. So cheers.
Cheers.
Oh yeah, it's like you said, it's more in line with some other ones that aren't as grain forward. You're getting a lot more of the traditional, like, to me, this is like a caramel bomb. I get vanilla bombs on bourbon. To me, this is like a really chewy caramel candy. I love those desserty whiskeys. So
and
this
so
is
do
definitely up my alley. Well, while I'm enjoying that, I see a question from Fred. He was asking, are you intending to keep the age younger to highlight the grain rather than the oak, or will you be releasing at higher ages? I think that's a relevant question for this whiskey.
Sure. So our straight bourbon is going to be in that 4 to 5 year range. Our bottle and bond is going to be in that 5 to 6 year range. We'll have some single barrel expressions or some other small blends that will have, a slightly older age statement, but those will be very limited releases. Everybody can over oak whiskey. Right. And I think that if you make it well, with the right ingredients, with the right cuts, with the right expressions, I think you're drinking a proof in the pudding, so to speak, that you can have a really, really nice whiskey in that 4 to 6 year range. And that's where we believe it's the right space to be. And that's honest. It's not like, if extracting dollars out of the barrels was something we were going to do, we would have done that a long time ago. So we're really following like the way the palate drives us. And so we certainly do want to highlight the grain. At the same time, we don't want to have somebody drink whiskey and go, well, this is young. Right. But some people are going to drink it who, are fans of 10-year whiskey. And what that does is that showcases the barrel. And that's not our business. Our business is seed to spirit, right?
Gotcha. Yeah. So sort of, Fred, what you were asking, I kind of see they want to highlight the, not necessarily younger whiskey, but grain forward one. And Donnie's asking, like, any plans for an 8-year-old barrel or oldest whiskey you guys have released so far?
I think we've done a 6-year single barrel, but the absolute oldest that we can release right now, it would be on December 21st, who would be 7 years. Okay, gotcha. but on December 21st, we were making corn whiskey. So I think, if I remember right, I think February 2nd is when we filled barrel number 1 and number 2, and those are still sitting right now.
Gotcha. So it's more of like a we'll see.
It's right. So we will have some that will sit back and let cook for a while longer. But our plan is not to be a supplier of 8-year-old, 9-year-old whiskey across our portfolio.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, having your base product being at least 4 years old is a huge achievement in itself. You see a lot of the small like craft distilleries coming out and putting out 2-year-old, 1-year-old. I mean, I'm sure when you start out, of course, but a lot of distilleries continue that trend and don't necessarily let their whiskey age past a certain point. So I think that you guys you're setting your baseline at that 4-year mark, which is awesome.
Yep, and our bottle and bond will be that 5 or 6 year mark, and we'll continue to do that.
Yeah, I think I'm really enjoying this Bourbon Bond bourbon. I saw someone in the chat was enjoying it earlier as well. This, I mean, 100 proof is, I'm a bit of a proof hound, so I like higher proof whiskeys. So 100 proof hits right at the right spot for me.
Our validation for the bottle and bond was, we have two. So Binny's is a big retailer within the state of Illinois. Mm-hmm. And when they reviewed it, their closing statement was that Whiskey Acres Bottle and Bond bourbon is setting a new standard for craft whiskey.
Wow.
So I couldn't have asked for a better endorsement there. And then like secondarily to that, our bottle and bond won a double gold at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. And awesome. Craft distilleries don't come in and win that. and so we're darn proud of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's great. So let's move on to what I know is the more difficult grain to distill. I don't know about grow. You'll have to let me know that. Let's move on to the rye whiskey. So have you guys been growing rye like traditionally in that area? Is that kind of a common grain that's grown?
Not at all.
Okay.
Yep. So here for the geeks out here, here's some farmer geek for you. In the state of Illinois and in the United States in general, rye is not a cash crop. Rye is grown as a cover crop. You plant it in the fall. The roots take hold. You get a little bit of plant structure, and they prevent soil erosion and nutrient leaching. And generally what happens is in the spring, you till that rye back into the soil to add organic matter, and you plant a subsequent crop. Rye is very rarely harvested. Because of that, there is very little research and development done in the United States on rye genetics. So when we go to buy rye seed, we have access to something that's called NVS rye, non-varietal specific rye. It's like buying grass seed at Menards, where you get something that's called grass, you get something that's called rye, but you have really no genetic background on it and have no expectations for what you're going to get. When you plant that, and if you let that go to grain, what happens, because our growing season in Illinois is so long, because our nutrient-rich soil is so dense, that rye grows and it grows and it grows and will often get 8 to 10 feet tall. You plant that rye in the fall and you generally harvest it in mid to late July. What always happens between May 15th and the 4th of July in the state of Illinois is a big weather event with 50-mile-an-hour wind and 2 inches of rain that acts like a bulldozer and knocks that rye over and makes it's called lodging and makes it unharvestable. So when you've got rye laying on the ground, if you even do harvest it, you've got dirt and infections and things that you really don't want in your rye grain that you're ultimately going to make whiskey from. All that being said, they grow a whole bunch of rye in Canada, and they've done a ton of research and development on new rye genetics. We work with a farmer friend, and I'll give a shout out to Mike Swanson up at Far North Distillery in Halleck, Minnesota. They are to rye, and rye grain in the whiskey world is what we like to think we are to bourbon, to corn and bourbon whiskey. Dave Pickerel introduced us to Mike, and we together identified a specific variety of rye that's called AC Hazlitt that agronomically it grows way, way shorter than your typical rye that we have access to.
Gotcha.
And has a much stronger stalk. And so instead of being 8, 9, 10 feet tall, it's more like 5, 6, 7 feet tall. And it doesn't act like a sail, and almost always it's harvestable. So we picked those rye genetics for the agronomic characteristics of it. What we had no expectation of, no thought whatsoever, and we should have, was that this rye has a fantastic nose. And
that's all I've done so far. But I was going to say, I love the nose on this. So
this rye that you're drinking, let me catch up with you here. It's 75% rye and 25% corn.
Okay. So kind of like swapped a little bit. I mean, a little bit different.
A little bit different. And then we We use a different yeast strain. This all comes from 53-gallon barrels as well. In this case, our rye is, the minimum is a 3-year barrel. There are 3 and 4-year barrels in this. Give me another 6 months or so, and everything in our straight rye will be transitioned to 4-year as well.
Awesome. And what's the proof that this is bottled at?
87 as well.
So same with the bourbon.
Straight up. And so what you get out of this specific rye strain that we're using is almost more like a bourbon. You get these very sweet notes on the front nose, the bourbon, the caramel, the butterscotch, that are very complementary to the corn. That's a secondary ingredient. And instead of that very stereotypical hard, dense, spicy finish that you get in a rye whiskey, this is a much more softer, subtle, almost like a white pepper finish. And it's just, it is loved by bourbon drinkers and often hated by traditional rye drinkers, because
I like both. So I'm excited.
and hated is a strong word, but when we get judges and we get judges notes back, it's judges who are like, this is like redefining and revolutionizing the rye industry. And then the other judges are like, not rye, tastes like bourbon. And to us, this is exactly what we wanted to come out of this.
I'm excited to try it. Fun. Cheers.
Cheers.
You know what's funny? The first thing that this reminds me of, it's crazy because I don't know if you've had Barrel Seagrass. These guys in the chat will know what I'm talking about. It's a rye whiskey from Barrel, and they source it from all over. So they're sourcing Indiana rye, they're sourcing Canadian rye. I think there's even Polish rye in it. And then they finish it in both rum casks and apricot brandy casks. So it's ridiculously complex. I'm getting similar notes from that ridiculously complex whiskey on this. And I'm not sure. It could be just that rye grain, or the different strain that you guys have of the rye is so different and so unique that I think it's pulling me in a different direction than just the typical rye whiskey. Is there certain notes that you think that this has that other typical ryes, like you said, the ones that everyone's like, this isn't a rye? What makes it different flavor-wise from those ryes that we're familiar with?
Well, I think most of the ryes you're familiar with are gonna, at this moment where I just had a sip and you're enjoying the finish, most of them are just going to be kind of what I consider to be like high heat and spiciness. I don't think the finish on this is just soft and subtle and long. You get some of the, to me, every once in a while, like I'll get a little bit of dill, but
not really, too much. Yeah, great. I'm just going off of that. Our friend Brandon, he's slowly getting into ryes, and one thing he doesn't like is that dill note. I don't think it's dominant. To me, this drinks
it's
so
not
much
dominant at all. It's very subtle. But to me, it's like all the good things about rye bread without any of like the bad, like bitter, spicy notes that you often get.
Yeah, well, and you mentioned Canadian rye kind of being the inspiration behind this, or just in some ways. I almost am getting some of those notes because I've had some of the higher proof Canadian whiskeys, like JP Weiser's is putting out, and it's giving me a little bit of those, because I've always thought Canadian rye tasted different. I don't know why. I'm not a grain expert like you are, but I've always felt like they had a unique note to their rye. So I'm almost wondering, is it just the variety of rye itself that's making that much of a difference? Again, you said the grain's the most important aspect of a whiskey. I think that's kind of shown here because it tastes so different.
I'm going to just make you fast forward and try the bottle and bond rye.
Okay. I just finished this. I'll move on.
I'm going to blow your mind here.
Okay, let's do it. so why are we
manage the bottle and bond rye the same, in that all of our tax stamp labels have a harvest year on it as well. So the bottle and bond rye is a 4.5 year old expression. We'll get it to 5 when we can get it there. But what's interesting that I've never found a good answer to is that it's just kind of industry knowledge that rye whiskey ages more quickly than bourbon.
Right.
And I don't have the answer to why, but
I've heard that as well. And I don't even distill. So,
and so, in this case, 4.5 year old rye, is going to taste out more like a 6 or so year old bourbon. And so I'll make the same analogy I made to you with the straight bourbon to the bottle and bond bourbon, from the straight rye to the bottle and bond rye, is that this is straight rye on steroids. the mouthfeel is so much more viscous. It's softer. The fruity notes come through. The finish is very long. It's so fun and fantastic.
Yeah, to me, that one, like flavor wise, it's a lot more similar to the other one as compared to the Bourbon Bourbon compared to the bourbon. But like you said, everything's amped up because it is at that 100 proof. Now, it sounds like you were gravitating towards the higher proof ones as well. Is that kind of like, I mean, I know you put out the straight bourbon, the straight rye, because that's, you want to be approachable and friendly. But do you guys have plans to do anything cask strength in the future?
We do them.
Oh, okay, even better.
So, yeah, we do them as single barrel releases that we call Distiller's Reserve that we do through the front door of our distillery. And then we have a lot of retail partners who come and pick single barrel picks. And so we don't have a vision for like a blend of cask strength. What we will do is cask strength single barrel offerings.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Here come all the nerdy questions. Sugar Kitty says, column or pot still?
500-gallon pot with an 8-plate column. We distill on the grain. Mash in is between 9.5% and 10% ABV. We use what we call a constant proof distillation technique, which basically means that we adjust the input of the steam in the double boiler, as well as the cooling at the top and the defligmator to control the speed in which the vapor goes through, so that we have a target distillation proof of 135. So that when the distillation first happens, the heads crack off of the still, we make our cuts. And then at that point, like the proof is going to be really high. That runs for 5 or 10 minutes or so. We can kind of get the still under control, get the proof down to our target, and then we'll distill at 135 for the next 6 hours or so to make sure that we're maintaining a stable proof and stable flavor profile, which makes our heads and tails cuts much easier to identify and makes that distillate way more consistent.
So that was Sugar Kitty had a twofer. He said, "What's the cut like on the rye?" You just kind of taught a little bit to that. So,
I think I answered it, but I'm not sure. I don't know how else to answer that question. What's the cut?
So Sugar Kitty, if you need clarification. And then Andrew's asking, next up, what is the proof that you enter the barrel at with the rye?
Our standard entry proof is 120.
120.
Yep. So if you look through our warehouse, almost everything is like 119.8 or 120.1 or something. If you walk in and see something like 122.3 or something just slightly higher or slightly lower, the only reason we ever do that is if we've got like we're transitioning from bourbon to rye or rye to bourbon, and we know how much liquid we have, and we don't want to like fill a barrel by 10% or only fill a barrel 10%. So we'll concentrate the alcohol a little bit more to make sure that it can fit in 7 barrels instead of 7 1/10 of a barrel. So we increase the proof to get the gallons in there.
Gotcha. Oh, Sugar Kitty has clarification for their question. They said broad or narrow cuts on both ends of the cuts. That's too detailed. I don't even know what that means. Hopefully you do.
I honestly, I don't know. I'm not sure how to answer that as well.
Okay. I
mean, I'll give you like the day in the life of I'm making whiskey, and maybe that will answer her question. We fire the pot up, and it takes roughly 45 minutes or so to create vapor. For roughly 7 to 8 minutes, it will run what we consider to be heads, and we run them a little bit. Like when we think that we're out of heads, we always run for another minute or two just to make sure that it's extra clean. Then we make our cuts into hearts. That distills, as I described a little bit earlier, for 5 to 6 hours or so, maintaining that constant proof at around 135. Then as those sweet notes begin to erode, particularly like if you're making bourbon, you're looking like what I look for, and this is kind of farm boy mentality here, but you're looking for the transition from like that sweet, like molasses and freshly cut alfalfa, that's more like horse feed, to the transition to what comes out of the horse, where it's not like if you ever been in a horse barn, it's still kind of like sweet and fresh, but it still smells kind of stinky. And so you're looking for those like more processed and just like funky flavors and smells. And that's when we run that just a little bit. We want a little bit of that funk in the hearts, because that's what makes the magic happen in the barrel.
Gotcha. And you know what's funny? I often give a note when I'm describing whiskey. I will say barnyard. And I think people think I mean that in a bad way, but I'm absolutely describing that note of like the hay and just the equipment, the leather, like all of, because I grew up, my sister had 2 horses growing up. So I'm very familiar with, horse farms. So I've always given that note, and I'm always scared because I feel like barnyard sounds negative, but it's never a negative note when I'm saying it.
Yeah.
And also cheers, Independent Joe. Thank you for tuning in.
Well, I hope I answered her question there.
Yeah. It's running the extra minute answers the question.
Got it. Okay.
Thanks for the question, Sir Kitty. All right, so we've tried your core lineup. I think now we got about 10 minutes left, so let's move on to are they experimental artisan casks? What do you call these last 2?
All right, so here is the bottle that
Artisan series. There we go. I was close.
So we call the Artisan series, and so the Artisan series is what we developed to really help us explore new grain varieties and really kind of launch them through the visitor center to kind of ground truth them, to get consumer experience. And honestly, we use a smaller bottle to stretch the supply, to make it a more approachable price point, and to really just kind of have something unique to delineate from our standard lineup. So our Artisan series, we have made bourbon from Oaxacan green corn and blue popcorn and Bloody Butcher and things like that I weren't ready, so I wasn't able to send you, but they are in barrels and will be scaled. This is one that we did where one day we were having a conversation with somebody who owned a maple syrup farm, and we went, light bulb, let's try finishing whiskey in a maple syrup cask. And we did. And our first couple iterations were a bourbon finished in those maple syrup casks and then put back into the bottle at 87 proof, because this was when we were just kind of following that, and it was pretty good. But then a lot of the bourbon geeks were like, Nick, we want cask strength. So so one of the challenges when you're doing a secondary finish, so just so you know what we're putting in, so we empty the bourbon barrels, we send them to maple syrup farms, then we get the barrels freshly back from them, and we take bourbon that's ready to go into a bottle, and instead of bottling it, we put it back into the barrels for at least 6 to 12 months.
Gotcha.
And those barrels sit right next to our boiler, so they are under constant heat pressure. We want to extract every little bit of that syrup that's in that barrel back into the distillate. But what happens in that process, so we pay the angel share the first time that we dump the whiskey, roughly 20%. In a year, in these finishing barrels, we're averaging 25% loss. And so coming back to the packaging, we have to put it into these smaller barrels to make sure, or these smaller bottles to make sure that we can spread the juice, so to speak, and also to have an approachable price point. This bottle, it's a $47.99 bottle. It is not inexpensive. I sell out in 2 hours when we release this stuff.
I was going to say, well, speaking of which, you guys, I mean, not to sidetrack, but you guys are having a big release tomorrow. So you mentioned the blue popcorn bourbon. That's what's coming out tomorrow?
That's what's coming out tomorrow. And so this is symbolic of the transition. So we ground truth the blue popcorn. We made sure that it worked. We made sure there was a customer demand for it, made sure we could make it repeatably. And then we scaled it. And so this will be, I think, our second release of blue popcorn as an Artisan series, but in the 750 ml bottles. And it's delicious. We use this. We use it's not an heirloom varietal, but it's called Shaman Blue Popcorn. And go back to my days with Dave. I have a friend in Western Illinois who raises blue popcorn, and so it was on my mind one day. I said, "Hey, Dave, how do you make bourbon from popcorn?" And he just kind of laughed. The Dave took a laugh and said, "I don't know. I don't think it's ever been done before." So I hung up the phone with Dave. I called my buddy over in Western Illinois and said, "Hey, Andy, can I get some popcorn from you?" And he had that like long pause. I'm not going to be your popcorn competitor. I want to try to make whiskey out of it. And that conversation happened like in the first week of April. He sent me seed, or sent us seed, the next day or the week or something. We had the seed in the ground that spring. We harvested that fall and immediately made whiskey from it. We waited a couple of years. We let it age in small barrels. We released it. We knew it was novel. It was interesting. So then we scaled it. This year, moving into 2022, it will represent almost 20% of our production.
Wow.
There's nobody else doing it.
That's so cool. I know a couple of people here in the chat are actually planning to be there for that release. He said the last one sold out in 2 hours, so you guys should probably get there pretty early. Well, cool. We'll talk a little bit about that at the very end, but I do want to try this maple cask because I've only tried one other whiskey that actually did something similar. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Tom's Foolery.
I've heard of them, but I've never had their maple.
So my friend Ian, he's not here in the chat, but he's here sometimes. He actually is a big fan. That's his local distillery. I forget. He's in Ohio, I believe. So it's one of the locals, very, very small. I've actually had them on the show before. They're fantastic folks behind that. But they also did a maple cask. So I'm curious to see, this is different approach to it. I think theirs was very, very sweet. But this on the nose, though, I think this is still whiskey forward. I don't think it's sweet.
That's the point.
Yes, it's not overpowering.
118 proof.
But see, and theirs wasn't cask strength either. So very excited to try this. Cheers.
That's the secret. That's the secret to this is you let the heat from the cask balance the sweetness from the maple.
Oh, wow. Not at all what I was expecting. To me, I guess I said I had that one experience with one other one, and that one was so sweet and so maple forward. This, though, I feel like it has the mouthfeel, the thickness, the richness of like what you would expect from that. But to me, it's only complementing the flavors of the actual bourbon itself. It's not taking over.
That's the secret to the proof. Mm-hmm. And that's our objective here. It's on paper, it's a flavored whiskey, but in practice, it is bourbon first. And that's exactly what we want.
Yeah, and it
so
finishes,
glad that's what you experienced.
It has a little bit of the finish of the actual maple flavor. That's where I'm getting it the most on the finish. But that's delicious. I mean, so far, I'm like, do you got any more of those bottles? That's so good. I imagine it's sold out. But
it is, yes.
Yeah. Well, Diana asked, do you allow purchases over the phone?
We would love to do that.
They want their hands on the blue popcorn.
we can't do that. We'd love to, but so Diana, I'm not sure where you're from, Diana, but if you're in Illinois, you can get it at our visitor center. You can get it at all the Benny's locations. And then we have a ton of retail partners in the Fox Valley, Wren and Lundeen's, and some of the really cool partners out there that you send me an email, nick@whiskeyacres.com. You can welcome to share that. I'll help you find it if you need help.
Yeah, Diana is in Tennessee, but I know she knows someone in Illinois that's hopefully going to go get her a bottle tomorrow. So.
Check Sealbox. I feel like Sealbox can ship to Tennessee. They did get a small allocation of it.
Gotcha. Well, that was fantastic. I'm really excited. This next one is something that I'm not familiar with. I did a quick Google search for what this actually means. So this last one we're trying is you pronounced it properly earlier, and I forget how you pronounce it. Tell us what we're drinking for our last one.
All right. So let's start with Nocino. Is the word you're looking for.
Thank you.
Nocino.
Okay.
And it's a traditional Italian digestif with the primary flavor grain is black walnuts. And so what you do is historically or traditionally you harvest the black walnuts on the summer solstice when they're still green. You chop them up, you throw them into high proof alcohol, and this is where how we interpret it. We throw them into used barrels with the chopped up walnuts, about 155 proof, 100% whiskey, 100% corn whiskey. Then we add cocoa nibs, cloves, cinnamon sticks, coffee beans, Madagascar vanilla beans. Wow. And that all goes into a barrel until roughly November 1st. Then we empty that barrel, do a little filtration, add simple syrup, and proof it down for a liqueur that's 35%. And it is Christmas in a bottle.
That sounds like it. That sounds delicious. I've never had anything like that.
This year, what we did was, all right, so we've got an empty Nocino cask. Let's put bourbon back in it and see what happens.
Gotcha.
So that's what you're tasting here is bourbon whiskey finished in an Nocino cask at cask strength.
Cask strength, awesome.
So I think it's
Emily is a Nocino fan. She says Swoon, my favorite non-whiskey. Well, Emily, I'm glad it's maybe experienced the essence of Nocino. Apparently, I need to buy some bottles of it too.
It's 121 proof. I think Waterford Distillery out of Ohio might be the only other distillery I'm aware of that's done anything like this.
Oh wow, nose! I get what you mean on the nose. Like, it's definitely Christmassy. Yeah, that cinnamon and that, like, there's like a I have to try it. It's very interesting of a nose. Cheers. You know what's funny? This reminds me. There's a distillery out here called Savage and Cook, and they have a whiskey called Sweater Weather. I don't know if you've seen it. It literally has a sweater on the bottle.
Okay.
Like a knitted sweater. And it's not the same thing, but it has that same, like, cinnamon. It's infused with cinnamon. And the only reason I'm saying that is, like, this is reminding me of that. I've never had that flavor before except in that whiskey. Yeah, they infused there with cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, cocoa nibs, and vanilla beans. So very, very similar to what this is. Very cool.
The only difference is we don't directly infuse it.
Right. You're using the
barrel remnants.
Yeah, and I think that makes it whiskey forward, similar to the maple syrup one. So you're not getting a liqueur in a glass. You're getting a bourbon that's taking on some of those sweeter characteristics, those unique spices, and especially on the finish. I mean, this one to me is more upfront than on the finish, but it's not overwhelming, and that's what the beauty of it, I think, is.
This was a let's try it,
and
we only sold this through the front door of our visitor center. We've got some bottles left. But if you want it, you got to come to DeKalb, Illinois to get it.
Oh man, and I imagine that was also sold out.
we actually did quite a bit of it, but it went pretty quickly, and it's one of those where we're truly, like, building the concept, right? Nobody, you didn't even know how to pronounce it, right?
I have no idea what that word is.
Yeah,
but,
so the understanding of what this product is pretty low. So we taste it out during all of our tours now, and just really, like, want to encourage people to experience this.
I can even see someone that, even though it is at cask strength, I think those flavors are so familiar and so approachable that someone that may not normally like a higher proof whiskey would gravitate towards this, because it's sweet. It has some very holiday spice notes to it. I mean, shoot, add this to some apple cider or something, and, like, oh, you got a drink right there.
Yeah, put an ice cube in it. I mean, it's something as simple as that. It is so easy to do.
That's super interesting. Like I said, the only reason I mentioned the Savage and Cook is it's the only thing that I've had that's similar to it, but that's more of infusing the whiskey. This is more using the actual cask. So the whiskey is forward and dominant and delicious. Well, I know we're a little bit over time, but you mentioned the blue popcorn bourbon is coming out tomorrow at the distillery. For those that are curious, is there a time that you guys are launching that? Like, when should people show up?
Yep, we open at 3:00. The weather is not supposed to be good tomorrow. We will not let people in early just for chaos management. But I'll have several fire pits going on our sidewalk on the entryway in to make your outdoor experience as comfortable as possible. We have a 2-bottle limit. We're going to do our best to make sure that as many people who want it can get access to it. But I can tell you've been surprised, blessed, flattered, and surprised at the demand for things like this, and certainly expecting to see that tomorrow. Or expecting is wrong. Hopeful to see that tomorrow, and really just want to make sure that, like, if you want it, don't show up Saturday. Is my
No, I gotcha. And for the rest of us that aren't local, Independent Joe is dropping the link to Whiskey Acres on Sealbox. Their products are available there. I'm not sure exactly which ones. You mentioned the Bottle and Bond was available there.
So Sealbox will have straight bourbon, straight rye, Bottle and Bond bourbon, Bottle and Bond rye. They did take a little bit of an allocation of the maple cask. I don't know whether they have anything left or not. And
buy it; it's so good.
And they did get a small allocation of the blue popcorn bourbon as well. I just don't know whether it's made it into their system or not. It's shipped out earlier this week, so I don't know if it's physically there yet.
Gotcha. Well,
I have a completely random thing I want to share.
Go for
it. I I live in Batavia, Illinois now, and a brother of one of my very good friends wrote a book called 8-Bit Christmas that has now been turned into a movie.
Wait, the movie? I saw the trailer for that. I love that trailer. Wow.
So I've read the book, and we're having a viewing party for the movie on Saturday. But it's like, it's been, I mean, the book that I've read and everyone it's like modern day Christmas story. But it's about this kid's quest to get a Nintendo.
I even shared that trailer on my Facebook page when it first came out. I'm like, this seems so cool. It's right up my alley.
Yeah.
That's
and
great.
so that's why I bring it up, because I highly encourage you and your audience to check it out, because I think it'll be very, very appropriate. Absolutely.
Well, since you mentioned that, are you much of a gamer? Did you play games growing up or anything? Or
no, I bought my first Xbox when I was 24 years old.
Okay.
So,
well,
but
yes. So I usually ask that question, but I also I always feel like I don't want to catch people off guard. You asked me earlier, are there any curveballs? I'm like, I won't ask him that, but you brought this up, so I'm going to ask him anyway. Well, very cool. Yeah, I definitely plan.
One other thing I'm making up for my lack of video games as a child.
Okay.
My basement has like 110-inch projection screen. It came with my house. And I hooked up the original like Nintendo to it. Mm-hmm. So I now play Super Mario Brothers 3 on a 110-inch projection screen TV right now. So I'm making up for what my mom would let me have when I was 7. Is what.
All right, we'll excuse it. We'll let it slide. No, that's awesome, man. I love the retro games. That's kind of part of my thing here. So yeah, that's exciting. So you said that the screening of that is it this Saturday at the distillery?
It's screening. It's a personal thing. It's available on HBO. Is it Max or HBO Now?
Max, yeah.
Max, like right now.
Okay, gotcha. Well,
and I see Diana. It's nick@whiskeyacres.com.
Yeah, if anyone wants to drop that in the chat, I'll highlight it on the screen for anyone that wants to reach out to him for any reason whatsoever. Well, Nick, thank you so much for coming on. This was so much fun. I can't wait to hopefully eventually try the blue popcorn bourbon if it doesn't sell out instantly. But this was an absolute pleasure. I loved having you on, answering all these amazing, nerdy questions, but these guys love it. And we all appreciate you guys being in the chat and asking your questions. But most of all, we appreciate you, Nick, for coming on and telling us a little bit about farming. I learned a lot, honestly. Like, I'm not going to go start a farm, but I learned a lot.
Well, Clifton, I appreciate your platform and all of your audience's time and attention. And I hope, we maybe taught some people a few things and would just strongly encourage everyone to come visit us. We have a beautiful space and we give great tours and just have an incredible team that gives all our guests a great experience, and would love to share that with you on site.
That's awesome. So I dropped
and one other thing.
Yep.
You don't have to be from Kentucky to make bourbon. That's one thing that is my goal in life to tell this story.
If only more people knew that, that's not a thing, but that's awesome. I love the shirt. So I put Donnie dropped the link here, or the email address to Nick there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to him after the show. But thank y'all for watching. Like I said, new podcast episode drops in the morning. So Bourbon Bytes podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And then Saturday is gonna be another Twitch gaming stream. So just find me all over the internet. But Nick, thank you so much. This was so much fun. And everyone else, have a wonderful rest of your night. I'm heading over to the after party on Discord for patrons. So cheers, y'all, and have a wonderful night.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Or I you'll learn a bit why once we get into the history of this distillery. But we, of course, if you've seen the thumbnail, you know what we're talking about. We are talking about Aberfeldy. So this is this is what the bottles look like. These are just like a part of a sample set I had. They also come in these. This is what the bottles look like. These are just like a part of a sample set I had. They also come in these really cool tins. So this is the 15-year. This was the Napa Valley Limited Edition, which we will get to shortly. I don't know if that's a California exclusive. I imagine it's at least relatively hard to find. I'm out here in Southern California, so I was very lucky to find that on the shelf. But first of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Patreon supporter of the channel and good friend of the channel as well, Donnie the Linux Cat. He was actually the one that recommended this brand to me. He told me there was this sample set that existed. Looked it up in my local store, picked it up, and also, like I said, I found the 15-year exclusive. And I thought, you know what? I'll make a stream out of this. I'll give my honest first impressions of this Highland single malt Scotch. And Donnie, I think, is going to drink along with me. So Donnie says it's the drink along for Bourbon Bytes with Diana and Donnie. Yes, so they have these samples. They're going to be drinking along with us. Donnie, feel free to let us know in the chat as you drink through them what you think of each of them. I know you've had them before, but you told me that you really like this, so I'm really excited to give it a try. So a little bit about Aberfeldy. They are actually founded by, I have two different web pages pulled up. So it's actually Dewar's Aberfeldy. That's the name of the distillery. And that's because it was actually founded by it's actually the only Scotch whiskey distillery built by the Dewar family. So it was first planned in 1896 by the sons of John Dewar. So Dewar's was already a successful brand of blended whiskey, renowned for its quality, and the company needed more single malt whiskey to use in its blend, and thus Aberfeldy began. So I'm not sure of like how much of this whiskey is used today in Dewar's. I'm actually not very familiar with Dewar's. I mean, obviously, I know what it looks like, and I've definitely tried probably like the basic one, but really cool to hear that this was actually the first distillery that they created after already having a successful blended whiskey brand. And they're like, hey, we need more single malts. Let's start a distillery, which is pretty awesome. And the cool thing about this is it was actually founded on a river or by a water source. It is near the Petilly Burn. I'm probably mispronouncing that. It is their source of water, but it actually contains a lot of deposits of gold. So that's why it's, like I said, it's called the Golden Dram. So yes, there might be trace amounts of gold in the water used to make this whiskey. Now, am I saying there's gold in the whiskey? I don't know. It could be marketing, but that is kind of cool that the water source is known for containing gold deposits, which is kind of cool. Yeah, there a lot of the stuff talks about the specific flavor profiles of Highland single malts. Highland is a category that I either love or don't like. So I'm really hopeful that this is going to be one of the ones that I love. I trust Donnie's judgment here, but really excited to get into this. I want to say some hellos to people in the chat. Bourbon Neophyte said, okay, you had me at Scotch. Cheers, all you magnificent whiskey people. You know, I got to switch it up every now and then. I can't do bourbon all the time. I mean, I surely could, but I love exploring new things, and especially this one recommended by you guys. Got to give it a try. By the way, speaking of patrons, we just had our monthly movie night over on Patreon. This past one was actually a movie marathon of 80s horror movies. We watched 3 movies back to back. So much fun. Thank you to everyone that came out to one or all screenings. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to get in on things like that, like fun screenings, after party hangouts, and all tons of cool perks, hangout community things for our members, check out the Patreon down below in the description, patreon.com/bourbonbytes. You can also check out our Discord server with a link to that down below. Everyone's welcome to join the Discord. It's not just Patreon, but if you are a Patreon supporter, you get access to some exclusive VIP rooms. So if you do want to support the channel, that's one way you can do it. You can also become a YouTube member here. You can also super chat if you're enjoying the stream. You know, whatever you do to support the channel, most of all, hit the subscribe button. That means a lot. That means a lot. We're still within 100 subscribers of hitting that 4,000, which is crazy. So close, yet so far. But yeah, thank y'all for the support for the movie night and just being here tonight. Taste and Sensibility in the house. Taylor Dom. Sofer in the house as well. Yes, drinking with Donnie and Diana. Tony Bag of Donuts. Scotch, Scotch, Scotch. Here it goes down into my belly. Is that a song? I don't know. Viking Bourbon in the chat. Good to see you. I feel like you've been here, but you've always usually tuned up at the end of the stream. So good to see you at the beginning. Patrick said, I have the 12. Guess it's a good time to pull it out. Well, hopefully you mean the whiskey. Tony's in the chat again. Good to see you. Thank you for the double like there. Does mean a lot. John Dewar, Spencer's great grandpappy. I don't think there's any relation, actually. But I think he is a Dewar's fan. Yeah, Zover was there. He was there through all 3 movies. So thank you for showing up. It's a lot of fun. All right. Let's go and get something in our glass. We've talked enough about this. Like I said, there's a little bit of it, the history of it. They've been doing it for over 125 years. Let's see what that work added up to. So this is a 12-year expression. It comes in at 80 or 40% ABV, so 80 proof. And let's see what info we have here. It is mellowed for 12 years in handmade oak casks. Smooth, sweet dram offers rich rewards for those who like to dig deeper. Okay, well, we are digging for gold, the golden dram here. So let me pull up the page just so I can have it for reference for this one. Now, I don't know the actual cask they use for this. I know some of these other ones they use very specific, like sherry cask or red wine cask. I think this one, there it is. It is a combination of sherry, bourbon, refill, and rechar cask. So this is the most variety I think we're going to see in terms of casks. Adam Free in the chat. What's up, Adam? Good to see you. All right, so I'm just gonna pour a little bit. I just got my latest booster shot earlier today, so like I'm trying to take it easy on the alcohol. I'm gonna go to bed early. Like I'm starting to feel a little sore already, so just gonna do some small pours, but enough to get a taste of each of these whiskeys, and of course for the after party hangout. I may be drinking a bit there too, but playing it safe. Even though there's no rules saying you can't get the vaccine and drink, although they do say something about like the immune system's a little weakened once you drink, but we're not drinking to excess. We're just having a few pours here tonight. So let's go and give this 12-year a nose. Oh yeah, I mean they say it's sweet, but that's like a honey sweetness. It's like a dark honey though. It's like maybe more of like a honeycomb. It has that like earthiness that the honeycomb typically has over just like pure honey. Jeffrey Whack in the house. I almost said whack in the tack. I'm just so used to people calling you that. Good to see you, Jeff. Hope you're doing well, man. Yeah, no, so now let me know in the chat. Have any of you guys had Aberfeldy before? I know Patrick said he had the 12-year. He's going to go grab that. And I know Donnie and Diana have this sample pack. But I'm curious, have you guys had anything from this brand before? Like I said, first time for me. I'll say the nose is really, it's rich. It's got the malt characteristic, but there's a lot of like sweet, darker, not fruitiness. To me, it's not fruity. It's definitely more in like the honey sweetness territory. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's kind of giving me some like bourbon characteristics. Has a little bit of vanilla. Yeah, I mean that's really approachable in the nose. It almost is like, if I was reaching for like a fruitiness, I would maybe go towards like maybe like a apple, like a stewed apple, like an apple pie. It's like apple cinnamon if I were to go fruitiness, but it's definitely not red fruits or anything like that. I mean, it's already smelling like a fall whiskey. So let's see how it holds up. Let's give it a try. Cheers, y'all. Oh, I was spot on with that apple, but to me, on the palate, it's less of like the stewed apple, and it's more of like I don't know. It is. It's kind of like this is like weird, but it's like the smell of your house during Thanksgiving. Like you got all of like the pies baking and like all of the like sweet like honey baked ham. It's got a little bit of savoriness to it, but I mean, man, for a 12-year, I think this bottle's only like $38, at least a total wine near me. That is so light, and I mean it's 80 proof, right? Which you don't expect too much, but the flavors are bold. It's light body, but it does have a really rich, sweet, like apple spice, honey kind of sweetness. That's really good for a relatively affordable bottle, and it comes in a really cool bottle. Did I mention the bottle? I'm gonna keep mentioning it because I'm a sucker for good graphic design, and I think their bottles stand out with that shiny gold label on the black background. Simple but elegant. Love it. Donnie says he thinks it has a local honey vibe, not the store stuff. That is probably a mix or very little real honey. Almost like a honey graham cracker. Almost no fruit for you. Okay, I didn't get as much fruit. The fruit was on the back end for me. To me, it's like a spiced apple. Again, it's like the apple pie. Yeah, but the honey's the most dominant thing. Cinnamon graham cracker. That's cinnamon honey graham cracker. If you combine both of those together, that's kind of what I'm getting. I'm getting less of the actual graham cracker itself, though. I'm not getting like any like the pie crust. Sometimes I kind of get that on some single malts. To me, it's just straight up the filling. It's just straight up filling. What a great start. I mean, if that doesn't make you appreciate this brand, and then maybe it's not for you, but that's a great starting place. I'm already impressed. I can't wait to work my way up the age and casks through as we go through their different casks. So I did watch a video on their webpage. They're really passionate about like age statements, and that's something they say they stand by. They think it's a good mark of like quality, which I agree. I think a lot of brands forego age statements because they feel like it's marketing, or they feel like they have these unrealistic expectations of certain age point or ages, which I see both sides there. However, as someone that comes from the bourbon world, I do appreciate a good age statement, even if it isn't a very old one, even if it's just 6, 7, 8 years old in the bourbon world, still appreciate it. So I do like seeing age statements, and all of their bottles I have here have age statements, and all of the ones I've ever seen have had them. So really good to see that. A muted apple pie or baked apple, I can see. Yeah, that's definitely the vibe I'm getting. Emily referencing the Paris chat earlier. Yes, like a great king of Kentucky. That's what we'll say. All right, let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to keep that as my baseline. I do have 4 glasses here, so I'm going to finish it, and then I'm going to pour some more to do a little comparison later. But we got to work our way up in age. Now, this next one is actually not part of. So I mentioned earlier, I got this sample set earlier, which is really cool. Thank you, Donnie, again for the recommendation. They had the 12, 16, and 21 in here. But we're going to work our way up in age. So we're going to actually move on to the 15-year, which I know a lot of you may not have. It was a limited edition Napa Valley release. So this is, like I said, 15-year, 43% ABV, so 86 proof. Finished in Cabernet Sauvignon barrels from the Napa Valley. So being a California boy, not officially, but where I am now, I wanted to give it a try. So I can already tell color-wise, it's darker. It's definitely a darker. You can see that Cabernet cask influence. I do have the website here. Let's see what other info they give us on this one. All right, so this is actually their latest. Well, as of this website, it says our latest release from the red wine cask collection. They have a few other ones. There was like a 24-year-old I also saw today, but it was pricey, so I didn't get that one. Especially with like first impressions, I wanted to test the water jet. This one was about, I think it was 60. I think I paid about 60 for this one, if I remember correctly. I ordered it earlier today, so I should remember. But yeah, about 60, 65 maybe. Like I said, 15-year. Let's see what they say on the website about the 15-year. Emily says, "Oh, that's pretty." Well, yeah, the tube's cool too. Again, I love sucker for good design. All right, let's see. Cask type. Cabernet Sauvignon reigns supreme over this rugged terroir, ripening fully in the California sunshine to produce big, bold, and fruity flavors, as well as notes of spice from aging in oak. Now, they do have a video of tasting notes. I don't really like to watch those without giving my own thoughts. But it is kind of cool that I guess they aged it. I mean, my guess is it doesn't say exactly. I don't want to like speak out of turn. It's finished in Cabernet cask. So it wasn't aged fully, and then maybe it started out in the other cask like we saw earlier. But yeah, let's go ahead and, like I said, color-wise, it's definitely darker. You can see a little bit of that red wine influence on it. I mean, I think it's probably the darkest of them all. The 16 might give it a run for its money, but color-wise, it's definitely dark. Ooh. Very, very different nose. It still has that honey sweetness that I got and loved on the 12-year. But to me, it's got way more red fruits. I mean, I've had a couple Cabernet finish things, and they are so winey. Like, duh. But like, seriously, I'm getting a lot of those notes that I get on a really good red wine. Definitely berries, dark red fruits, not raisins, not like figs or anything, but almost like cherry. It's got a little bit of like a sourness to it too. I don't want to say I think grapefruit's a weird one. I'm getting a little bit of like a kind of a grapefruit nose. It still has a little bit of that like apple spice thing going on as well, but there's definitely some red fruit influence on this that I think was missing on the 12, which obviously it's a finish, right? Really lovely nose. I mean, it's still got the richness of the 12-year. It's a little bit higher proof, which is always a good thing in my book. Let's go ahead and give this a try. Cheers. Well, first thing you notice is that higher proof. It definitely has a bit more body to it. I think it's, the first one I said was really light and drinkable. This does have a bit more heft to it, which is obviously most likely from that wine cask finish, although it is a few years older. To me, it goes more towards like we were talking graham crackers earlier, right? This goes towards like the cinnamon graham versus the honey graham. It's not as sweet, definitely not as sweet. It does have some red fruits that are really great, but it's definitely not quite as, I don't want to say approachable, but that first one was so like, I mean, I love that nose on the first one. This one is a little more complex for sure, which you would expect for something, twice as expensive. I do like the hint of that red fruit on it. I will say though, it does kind of go towards a little bit of like an oxidized note. Like sometimes you get on some like wine finished whiskeys, you do pick up some of those more like Oloroso sherry kind of notes on it. It does have a little bit of that note that I've sometimes found off-putting. I don't think it's enough to make me feel like this is off-putting. I just think that like the whiskey, the 12-year on its own, does enough. It doesn't need that Cabernet finish. Although, like I said, this is a limited release. It was probably an experiment. Nothing wrong with it. I just think I don't like that twice as much as like the first one, if that makes sense. It's good. It's definitely a good chance to see what a Cabernet finish can do to a whiskey. I just don't think it necessarily improves it enough to say this is the winner. But we're going to go back through. We got 2 more whiskeys to drink tonight, but very cool. I love trying things that are like exclusive or a little more limited, especially when it comes to like Californian exclusives. Those are very, very few and far between. I mean, like the only things I can think of, like the Highland Parks, they had a couple of California exclusives. Nulu's done some California exclusive blends. Who else has done California exclusives? Redbreast did those 14-year, God, those amazing 14-year cask strengths. Those only hit a few stores. Those were delicious. But yeah, so it's cool to see something from my state of residence. All right, let's go ahead and keep it moving. Might be a shorter stream, but it's okay. As long as I don't like to dilly-dally, right? Like if I feel like we've covered all the information, we've answered all the questions, we wrap up a little early, that's fine. That just means more time for the after party hangout, which is a Patreon exclusive. If y'all are curious, everyone $10 and up gets access to our after party where we get to hang out, drink some more whiskey, and most of all, just have a good time. So, yeah, let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to pull up the website just to reference. We went to the 16-year. Now, this is also part of the gift set that we are reviewing. This is also 40% ABV, so we're going back down to 80 proof. So here's the 16-year. Now, this one says finished in sherry casks. Now, let's see if they get a little more specific on the website, maybe. Maybe they'll tell us what type of sherry casks. But it's finished in sherry casks. That's so hard to say. First fill, refill, and rechart bourbon cask, and then finished for 6 months in deluxe first fill Oloroso sherry casks. Okay, well that's the info right there. I love transparency. Look, they're transparent on age statement and now transparent on the type of sherry they're finishing in. Love it. I mean, they even tell you the region that the Napa Cabernet came from, which is really cool. Yeah, so they said, how does this compare to the 12 is what they say on their website. It's a richer, more full-bodied whiskey. The extra time spent maturing, coupled with Oloroso sherry casks, brings out certain notes. I'm not gonna read the notes. We're just gonna give my first impression, as always. All right, let's give this one a nose. This is the 16-year Oloroso sherry cask finish. Ooh. Huh. I'm going back and forth. Interesting. Surprisingly different from the 15-year Napa Cabernet. The 16-year, it's much more mellow. It almost is like more, it feels more, what's the word? I was going to say cohesive, but that's not the right word. It's like, it feels more purposeful, if that makes sense. I feel like the Cabernet kind of felt like a cool experiment. This one, though, it feels like they made this decision with commitment, if that makes sense. It does have a fruitiness, different kind of fruitiness, but I think this one retains more of that honey sweetness. I mean, if we're sticking with honey, I mean, did y'all used to go to like state fairs or anything that would have like the honey sticks that were like flavored? This kind of tastes like if you were to take a honey stick and flavor it with some kind of berry. Can't quite place it there. You know what's funny is I'm getting blackberry or even blueberry. Like actually, weirdly enough, I rarely get that on a whiskey, but it's definitely like a sweet berry note. Bit of honeysuckle too, but there's like an overarching like richness. I mean, I feel like I've said richness on all of these, right? I will say like that's like a constant theme I'm seeing in these Aberfeldies is they're very rich, at least on the nose. Let's see how the palate is. Cheers. Mm. I will say, mouthfeel wise, I do feel like we step back to the 12. That's where the Napa one's winning for me right now. It has a very like rich. I feel like rich has double meaning. The Napa has a full bodied mouthfeel. The 16 and the 12 are a bit light on the mouthfeel, which again, 80 proof, not to be unexpected. But flavor. I mean, let me just go back to the 12 real quick to compare. Yeah, whereas the 12 is light and bright, this one goes darker. Almost like I don't want to say espresso. It's not like a dark espresso, but it's like a bit of a coffee. Not like black coffee, maybe like a sweetened or a honey latte. Love that, by the way. If I go to a cafe and they have like a honey latte or like a honey lavender latte, that's like my drink of choice. It's got the honey sweetness, but it has a richness that doesn't carry through for the body. The body is what's missing, I think. Trying this at a higher proof would be fantastic. 80 proof, a little light for me. But what a great flavor. It's definitely like the berries are I'm still leaning towards like blueberries, like fresh blueberries. It's so such an odd note that I feel like I've never gotten from a scotch, but really, really nice flavor. Price on this one, let me look it up. This one I think is a little bit more. Let's see how much this one goes for. Okay, this one goes for about 80. It's a bit much. I mean, I'm biased, right? I come from the world of bourbon. You all know this. Bourbon drinker first and foremost. I do look for a little more oomph. So when I drink an 80 proof whiskey, I'm a little bit searching for more, if that makes sense. It's not bad at all. But that when I'm seeing that $80 price point, it made me kind of it hit me a little in the chest. I will say this trial pack, I paid $70 for. You get to try 3 different expressions, the 12, the 16, and the 21, which we're about to move to. So I will say this is the way to go. If you want to give it a try and try their $40 bottle, their $90 bottle, and dare I look at how much the 21 is? Let's see how much the 21 is. Holy moly. Okay. Well, this is definitely a deal. These are 200 milliliter bottles. You get 3 of them. The 21 is $200. So if you want 200 milliliters of it, get this instead. I mean, to be fair, you're getting 600 mils of 3 different whiskeys. One of them is a $40, one's like a $90, and one is a $200 bottle of whiskey. So if you guys see this in your sets, all the stores in my area have this. Total Wine, K&L, Mission, they all have this. So guys, don't pass that one up. Let's see what Donnie says. The 16 is much richer than the 12, darker fruit notes, slightly less honey sweet, higher proof, longer finish, much longer. Well, so Donnie, it's actually not higher proof, believe it or not. This is only 80 proof. At least mine is, unless yours is different. You're saying it drinks higher proof though? Interesting. About 90. Very cool. I will say to me, bang for the buck. I'm thinking 12, but the Napa is starting to call my name a little more. Let's just look to see. Let me double check how much I pay for the Napa. Yeah, 70. That's what I thought. All right. Keeping this all in mind. Let's move on to the 21-year-old. Holy moly, $200 bottle, Aberfeldy, 21 years old. All right, every single drop distilled at Aberfeldy, found on the leafy banks of the River Tay in the Central Highlands of Scotland. Guaranteed 21 years in oak. Now, this one is also 80 proof. So the only one that was higher proof was the 15 because it is a limited edition. Let's see what they have to say on their website about this one. Oh, that was your taste notes. Gotcha. All good. Let's see what they say. Their core range is the 12, 16, and 21, by the way. The rest are all limited editions, special editions. Cliffy likes a sting. I do. I like a honey sting and a proof sting. Taste and Sensibility says, I bought the gift pack for a friend for Christmas, but I may have to break into it. Dude, like, I mean, I'm not encouraging you to do so, but like, you know, you got a couple more months to find a replacement if you need to. I mean, I think it's a steal. It's a great gift too. If I would have received this as a gift, I would have absolutely loved it. All right, the 21 year. Let's see what info we can find here. Let's see. Cask type. The oldest offering from Aberfeldy is crafted from a rare collection of casks aged for 21 years and longer. Refill and rechar casks provide a perfect harmony of rich sherry casks and vanilla-laden bourbon casks. So these are old casks we're dealing with, guys. It's saying that the Angel shared these. Over half a cask is lost before they're ready to bottle the 21 year. So this whiskey is like the Angel share takes a lot of this whiskey, which would explain maybe some of the pricing on it. All right. 21 years old, $200 Aberfeldy. On the nose, I immediately get the age. I think the age shows on this one more than any of the other ones. Yeah, it's oaky, but in like a nutty kind of way. It's not like the typical like an older bourbon or anything. It's definitely worlds different from that. It's sweet, but it's less of the honey that I'm getting on the other ones. I'm trying to think what I could relate this to. You know what? It's more citrus. It's more of a citrus sweetness, like a I mean, I'm getting like orange. Like it kind of smells like an old fashioned, believe it or not. That cinnamon has been the theme throughout. That cinnamon note is ever present in all of these. But man, you can just smell that this is a very well aged whiskey. All right, let's stop dwelling on the nose. Let's give it a taste. Cheers to y'all. Cheers to y'all for tuning in for this live stream. Coin sense and nonsense in the chat as well. Cheers to you, my friend. Ooh. Ooh. That's a journey. I hold a journey note very precious. This whiskey takes you on a journey. It's like fresh leather, like freshly tanned leather. Up front, it hits you with, whoa, that was cool. That was a really cool experience. I gotta go for another sip before I try to explain it. It like shocks you up front with sweetness. Mid palate, it just tingles with spice. The finish is like a leather, like a not like an old leather, not like an old leather like boot, but like a new, like you go to a leather shop and you get some new leather. I get it now. That drinks like a high-end whiskey. I saw that $200 price point. I'm like, oof, we're an 80 proofer. I get it. I don't think this needs more proof. This has enough flavor for 80 proof. Would I like to try it at higher proof? Sure, of course. But that's delicious. That's a fantastic whiskey. Ooh. I'm impressed, Donnie. I want to hear yours and Diana's thoughts on this one. This one, it blew me away. That 16 didn't quite do it for me, but this one, that's where it's at. So good. Whiskey Dicks here. What's up, Bill? If y'all don't know, I do Dungeons and Drams with Bill, Jason from the Mash and Drum, Ed from the Rock Gut Review, and Adriana from Whiskey Mountains. We go live every Monday night, almost. Bill's been sick the last few weeks. Hopefully you're feeling better this coming week. And we play some Dungeons and Dragons while drinking whiskey. So come join us every Monday night, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. Dungeons and Drams. Mods, feel free to drop a link. Bill, if you're not a mod, why not? I can't make you a mod from here, but rest assured, I can do that later on. Baker Drinks in the house. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, man. Good to see you. Donnie says the 21 is more malty, subtle yet complex. A cocoa or slight chocolate note. Maybe it's citrus, tangerine, or tangelo. Zest tastes more high end. Donnie, I think we are right on. Like, I think you and I we said this before. Like, our tasting, like our palates are pretty aligned. Donnie, what's your favorite? I will say this is definitely hands down my favorite. This 21, I could see myself buying a bottle. Would you buy a bottle? Definitely be going on Monday. I'm not a mod. Oh, okay, okay, Bill. You made me feel. You put a frowny face. I can't ignore that. Let's make Bill a mod. I gotta skip my own ad. How do we do this? Add as moderator. There you go, Bill. You are now a mod. Congratulations. Yeah, that's fantastic. Delicious. Tiller's Bourbon Challenge. Cheers. Welcome. I think it might be the first time seeing you in the chat. Welcome. I'm sorry we're doing scotch tonight, but it's all good. I love mixing it up and trying new things. Prescription bourbon. Oh man, someone must have just ended their live stream because there's a lot of people showing up all of a sudden. Patrick. That's me. That's me. Okay. All right. Okay. I can't make everyone mods. I don't want to make everyone mods. I know some channels do that, but okay. That's enough modding tonight. Diana in the chat. Hello, Diana. My champagne taste on a beer budget is coming through. 21 is my favorite. Diana, I feel you. It's really good. I was not expecting that to be so good, especially coming off of the 16. I had my doubts. So good. Okay, Bill. I can just as easily remove that mod button. Let the banning commence. Oh my god, what have I done? All right. So now that we've tried all 3 or all 4 Aberfeldies, the 12, 15, 16, and 18, I'm going to rank. Oh, sorry, I said 16, 18. Sorry, 16 and 21. You already know the 21 is my favorite. It's hands down. I rarely spend $200 on a bottle, but that's one I might consider picking up. But I'm going to go back to the Napa Valley one. Like I said, the highest proof, 43% ABV, $70, 15 years, second youngest. Yeah, I do like the nose on it. It just feels a little more crafty, experimental. Body-wise, it has the most body of all these, even other than the 21. The 21 doesn't need it. 21 just is a flavor bomb on its own, but like a journey of a flavor bomb. I think. Okay, let me go back to the 12 before I make a final call. Donnie said the first time through I like the 16 best. They have been open a couple weeks, and tonight the 21 is my favorite. All of them are delicious and worth picking up the set I got for my birthday. Well, what a wonder! And hey, the person that picked it up for their friend, hey, it makes a great gift. So maybe you should hold out for your friend. Coincidence and nonsense. I haven't been able to embrace the world of Scotch just yet, despite my Scotch heritage. Hey, no judgment there. I'm still experimenting in it. Bourbon is still my first love, but I love trying new things and I love expanding my palate a bit. Especially with this channel after doing it for over 3 years now. I like, not that I've run out of bourbon, but it's like I love dabbling in. I used to say I dabble in Scotch. Now it's a little bit more than dabbling. Like dabbling's what you say when you're like, I might be into this, but let me try it out first. I already know I'm into it, so like I do a little more than dabbling. What's more than dabbling? Diddling? Ooh, that doesn't sound good. Let's go back to the 12-year. That also 12-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey. Use your words, Cliffy. Oh, the 12 is good. The 12 is great. Pat says the Aberfeldy is a great entry level Scotch. The 12 for sure. Under $40, hell yeah. Really, really good. I mean, I think taking that into consideration, I mean, yeah. I honestly think the 12 is my second favorite, considering the price and the flavor profile. Perry's just lurking just to I noticed as soon as I said diddling, I'm like, oh, that's not a fun word. No one uses that word in like a positive way, right? Okay, yeah. Anyways, the 21 is my absolute favorite. $200 is steep, but I would pay it. I really would. I rarely say that because I was gonna say I'm cheap, but I'm frugal. Second favorite is the 12, believe it or not. $40, delicious, sweet honey. Third favorite is actually going to be that Napa one, the 15-year limited edition Napa Cabernet cask. I think it's good. It has more body than the other ones. I just think the flavor-wise doesn't quite mesh as well as some of the other ones. Do like the bump and proof. Do like that it's like a California product. Maybe I'm a little biased. I don't know. $70, a bit high, but I think that's my third favorite. Unfortunately for me, my least favorite was the 16-year. The 16-year, for me, smelled great. Love that blueberry note. I just feel like it fell flat on the mouthfeel. And it didn't drink. Honestly, what killed the 16 for me was seeing the price, seeing that it's $90. I can't justify that. For me, that's a no-go. But again, if you're buying the set, then you don't have to think about it. You just can buy the 12, 16, and 21. You know what? I should have did a giveaway. If I would have thought about it, I would have totally done a Wheel of Whiskey giveaway on this one. I could have got another box of it. So you know, maybe if y'all super chatted more. I'm just kidding, totally joking. But that's just what reminds me to do the Wheel of Whiskey giveaways. But that's a great point. Donnie says you can diddle the 21-year-old. Definitely so. Donnie said if you're new to Scotch, picking up the sample packs is a great way to start and try a lot without breaking the bank. 100% agree. There are some great sample packs from there's so many brands, even like not brands, but like families of whiskey. Like there's like those like the one that has the Lagavulin, the Kalila, and the there's another one. They're just like they're put together by the overarching brands, whereas like the Diageo or whatever. Look for the gift sets for Scotch. 100% best advice, Donnie. Definitely highlighting that comment. Come back to the 16 later and don't judge on price. To me, it's superior to Abuna. Okay, as of late. Compass Box also has a really great sample set. I've actually bought a couple of them and done them on the channel. So another great option. So if y'all are curious, hey, let's say you pick up the sample set later, come back to the stream, watch the replay, leave a comment down below what was your favorite, or if you just happen to come across this stream, you want to drink with me, definitely say hello in the comments. Because again, I know a lot of y'all can't catch the lives, but trust me, I read every comment and I appreciate everyone. Tony says, here's a diddle chat. Well, thank you, Tony. I will diddle to that with a 21-year-old legal whiskey. Very, very good. Also, hi, Brandon. So speaking of Brandon, in a couple weeks, we are going to be doing a really fun Saturday night stream. So let me pull up the date. I think it's the 11th. Yeah, the 11th of November. We are going to do a blind Weller stream. I'm going to be promoting this the next few weeks, but we are going to be drinking a bunch of Weller products, pretty much every Weller product, all the way up to William LaRue Weller, including the single barrel, full proof, 107, 12-year, and special reserve. We're going to do them blind. Not all of them blind, but like a little comparison. Like, so the comparable proofs, we're going to do them blind. Brandon came up with the idea. It's totally his idea, but it's going to be so much fun. So y'all make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. It's going to be a blast. Next Thursday is Dia de Muertos. I'm thinking about doing a mezcal stream. I don't know. What do we think? I haven't done one in a while. I haven't bought any lately, but I'll have to buy a few bottles maybe if I do that. If y'all want to see either that or agave or tequila, let me know. Maybe. I think it'd be fun. I tend to do that on Cinco de Mayo, but I feel like Dia de Muertos would be also a good day to do it. So let me know if y'all are interested in that. I do love me some agave spirits. Oh, Donnie's excited for the mezcal. He said, my order tonight is a 21, 16, 12. The 12 would be great if your focus is not on the whiskey. So drinkable. Absolutely. All right. Always game for that. Y'all are into it. Okay. If I can find some bottles that don't break the bank, I will definitely do that. It's so tough buying full-size bottles. Like, I mean, I know that's what Patreon support for. The money from Patreon goes exclusively to buying bottles for the channel, my StreamYard subscription, all that is thanks to you guys on Patreon. So I don't know. Donnie says he has some recommendations. 11th is a 4-day weekend. Road trip to Cliffies. Okay. Maybe. That's a long road trip, but you know, if you're down. And Donnie has some mezcal recommendations. All right. Yeah, come hang out for sure. Let us know if you're here. Let us know. But that does it for tonight. Again, we're going to do our after party hangout over on Patreon. Most of y'all already know about that. If you have questions, feel free to shoot me a message. Just love hanging out with y'all on Thursday nights, whether it's here or the after party. So thank y'all so much. Aberfeldy, it might be one of my new favorite Highlands for sure. Thank you, Donnie, for the recommendation. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, this has been Bourbon Bytes. Cheers. I'll see you next week, potentially with the mezcal stream, and then the Weller stream with Brandy shortly after that. All right. Have a good night. See y'all very, very soon. Bye. use and about really one night unrelated. They were related, but I them so. Number 9 and just hit shelves. It actually may not even be hitting the shelves yet. I don't know, but not tried them. Also, barrel picks of I almost said Elijah. Sorry. 2 incredible barrel picks of Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. These come to us from the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, and they were kind enough to invite me to be part of their pick. So this is Cliffy's first barrel pick. So of course through them, thanks to them. But I'm going to be trying 2 picks from the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club. The first of which, I know my green screen does not love this bottle, is Jackman, which he is yellow. For some reason, my camera thinks he's green, but he's yellow. And the second of which, this one's not going to show up at all. Just imagine that being green, the 1-Up barrel. So these are 2 picks. We did a pick. We found a barrel that we absolutely loved. And then we found a second barrel that we also really loved. And the folks at Jack Daniel's were kind enough to let us pick both barrels. So those were available through the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, which, if you don't know, is a group of 2 whiskey tubers, Jason from the Mash and Drum and Scott from My Bourbon Journey. They collaborated to create this whiskey club where they do picks all the time. Basically, all you have to do to join is to join their Patreon. So you guys definitely check that out if you want to get in on barrel picks like that. I'd love to one day have that set up for my channel. Do not have those connections yet, but definitely go check them out. I put a link in the description down below to check out the stream where we actually picked these barrels. So definitely catch that replay after this. Speaking of which, if you're here for the replay and you're not watching live, I'm going to put little time codes at the bottom to skip around for if you're just here for the Fusion Series 9 or you're here for the Jack Daniel's picks. Yeah, I got you. Check the description below. But everyone else here live, welcome. Good to see you. Man, I'm really behind the chat already. Kelsey was hanging out earlier. Like 30 minutes ago. Kelsey, good to see you. I think he's here. I think he's still here. There he is. Yeah. Can't wait to hear how you like Jack Daniel's picks. Oh, well, I was part of the picks, so I better like him. Got the bottle. So the pick was back in March. So I'm really excited to revisit these. Brandon is here. So Brandon's actually going to be joining me for a live stream later this month on one Saturday evening. I actually just put a poll up on my Patreon asking you guys, what do you guys want to see from that stream? So if you are a patron or you're considering becoming a patron, definitely please vote in that poll. You can join for as little as $2 a month and shape the future of the channel. That link is also down in the description below. Really does help support everything I do here, buying bottles, getting picks, hopefully in the future, fingers crossed. But if you want to support the channel, you could do it there. You can also support it another way by super chatting. So as with the past few weeks, I'm actually doing a giveaway on the Wheel of Whiskey that I will be spinning later tonight. So every $5 super chat gets you 1 entry on the Wheel of Whiskey, and you will win a sample of every single whiskey we try here tonight. And since we're video game theme here, especially tonight with the Jack Daniel's pick or the Jackman pick, you will also get with your samples a Bourbon Bytes challenge coin. So these are metal. They are shaped like old arcade tokens, and they fit on top of your Glen to keep the whiskey in there from being aerated. So the winner of tonight's giveaway will win all 4 samples we're drinking tonight and a challenge coin. So stay tuned for the end for the Wheel of Whiskey giveaway. Just want to let you guys know that. All right, Fred's here in the house. Zopher, Steven, all the regular crew. Good to see all y'all. Donnie giving the links. I was seeing the Linux cat. Giving the you're watching the replay and you're having a good time, or you want to have a good time because we're just getting started, hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to come back every Thursday night, I'm live here, same time every week. Make sure to hit subscribe, and if you turn on notifications, make sure to say all notifications so you are notified every time I go live. Appreciate that, Donnie, and thanks for tuning in. Alexander's here. Good to see you, Alex. Or I said Alex. I hate calling people by like Alex if they don't go by Alex. Alexander, good to see you. But if you go by Alex, hello. Stacy is here. 4-Leaf Whiskey, another awesome whiskey tube channel. I'm so sad I didn't get to hang out with you and Brandon in Kentucky. It looked like so much fun. Joseph Brazo is here. Good to see you, Joseph. Just make sure. Nervax is here, the winner of last week's Wheel of Whiskey giveaway. So his samples are out. They are on the way. They should arrive tomorrow or Saturday, I think. They also won a Bourbon Bytes challenge coin. So congrats again. You want to get a second challenge coin? Try your luck this week. But good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Swan is here. He made it. I am so glad to see you, Swan. Hope you are doing well. We need to catch up. I mean, I know I talk to you all the time, so I want to hear about how work's been going because he started a new job the same time I did. So I love hearing that. Yeah, these went fast. I was only fortunate enough because I was part of the pick. You get access to a couple bottles, but yeah, they went fast. I wish I could have had more to offer you guys. Like I said, if I ever do start doing picks like they're doing, I would definitely, kind of do the same system, kind of do it through Patreon. It's honestly the best way at this point, and I know it does suck being a lower tier because I'm lower tiers for all this anyways. But it's with how quickly these things go, it's the most fair way. You got to give back to those that support us, the longest or the most or however you want to do it. So next time, I fingers crossed for you guys because I knew these went. Try them tonight. Wayne is here. I think Wayne joined us last week for the first time, so good to see you again. 4 freaking live streams right now. Whiskey Dictionary, Whiskey Row, Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans, and Bourbon Bytes. Well, Bill thankfully ended his stream and sent people over here. I appreciate that. I love when everyone kind of sticks to, whatever time there's... That sounds wrong. I love when people try to accommodate for other people. And I know it's hard to do because a lot of people go live. So if people are live at the same time as me, I know it sucks. I do fully support them. If y'all want to watch them and watch my replay, go do it. But if you want to watch me and then watch their replay, I appreciate you being here. Hashtag replay squad in the comments below. I know a lot of you guys come back the next day to watch these, so I appreciate you. Ray V's in the chat. Welcome. Hello. Good to see you. Patrick, I hope you and Heather are doing well. I have not heard the catch up of the move situation. I hope maybe you guys can join tonight on the Hangout. We'll see. Thank you, Donnie, for dropping the Patreon info there. Emily Chambers also dropping the info for liking and hitting the bell button. Alex is fine, or Alexander, or Xander if you're feeling frisky. Just not Al. Oh, yeah. I realize I'm giving away things that annoy me. Good to know, good to know. But nice to know that I didn't screw up the name situation. Tony Bag of Donuts with the first Wheel of Whiskey giveaway entry / super chat. He says, "Hi, Cliffy. I'm drinking Fusion 6 and 7 tonight. Settled into my new bourbon bunker. The move is done, and now looking forward to the next chapter." Well, Tony, I'm so glad the move is done. I know you've been dealing with that for the past couple weeks, and good luck. You are now entered on the Wheel of Whiskey. Kevin says, sipping on some Rebel Cask Strength. You know what? My store just got a pick of that, and I passed it up. And then I learned later that it's a pretty old pick, because I know a lot of the Rebel Cask Strengths have been pretty young, but apparently the one that my store got was really old, and I'm really mad that I missed out on that one. Hopefully you are enjoying that pour. Patrick says, "You'll have to come help me break in the whiskey room." Hey, it's a short flight. That's all I'm saying. It's a short flight over there. Kelsey says, "Are you normally a fan of Barcelona Bourbon Company Discovery and Fusion?" Great point and great segue, because we need to get some whiskey poured. It's already been 12 minutes. What am I doing? So, in general, I didn't get the first couple batches. I wasn't like, Barcelona Bourbon Company wasn't on my radar. But I think I started with 3. I think I had Discovery Series 3 and Fusion Series 3. And I've really liked them for the most part. There were a couple of those Discovery ones that had Tennessee whiskey in it that just kind of didn't do it for me. I've never been a huge fan of that being blended into, blends, unless it's just a very small amount. So there were a couple misses for me, but in general, I do tend to like it. And I think, I haven't had a Fusion series since probably 5 or 6. They were so kind to send me these samples, but I think I kind of got off their list for a while. Not sure why. I promise I've been saying good things. But let me disclaimer that I always am honest with my reviews. I will say if I don't like something, so just want y'all to know that. But Yeah, I haven't had the past couple of them, but I'm really excited to try these new ones. I'm glad they sent me two to compare. And that's why I said like a double header tonight. We're going to do a comparison of version Fusion 8 and Fusion 9, and as well as comparing these two Jack Daniel's single barrels. So it's going to be a really fun stream. So glad y'all were able to tune in. Alexander says, cheers as I wrap up my dram of Cardew 14 cast strength 2021 Diageo special release. Oh, those are the cool ones with the really cool art, right? Those look really cool. I've seen pictures of them. By the way, am I laggy tonight? I feel like I can see my mouth moving and it's moving like less than like I'm actually talking. Let me know if I'm laggy or give me a thumbs up if it's all good. Not that it really matters. As long as y'all can see and hear me for the most part, I'm happy. Bardstown is freaky. I would say I did feel that way about some of the recent Fusion series. I think a lot. We'll see if I still have that opinion about these 8 and 9, but that's a very valid opinion. I think it's when you consider age and it's mostly younger stuff. I definitely understand that opinion, and I've felt that way about other releases. Hopefully tonight we don't feel that way, but we'll see. We'll see. Oh no! Okay. I thought I actually deleted your comment, Stacy. 4-leaf whiskey, wheel of whiskey. Yeah, y'all have until about 7:50, 7:55 when I'll cut off the giveaway. And I always just do that as a big thank you to you guys. Not that you're you're buying entries or whatever, but it's more of just like you guys support me with super chats, and I want to support you by giving you a chance to win some cool stuff. So I appreciate all y'all that do support me that way, or on Patreon, or however you choose to support, or just by hitting the freaking subscribe and like button down below. I like all kinds of support. It doesn't have to be money. I promise. I mean, I like money, but it doesn't have to be money. Whiskey costs money. That's the only reason. All good. All good. Thank y'all so much. My part. Dusty Dan's whiskey reviews. Good to see you. I feel like it's been a minute since I've seen you live or seen you on a live, but I'm glad to see you here. Rex Lugo is in the house. Salute to all and Cliffy. Hope everyone's having a great night. Well, I'm about to be because I have not had any whiskey yet. I think it's time to have some whiskey. But before I do, this shirt is not part of my merch, but I love it because it's okay. I thought it was relevant for two reasons. I actually wore this on Dungeons and Drams on Monday, but I was like, I gotta wear this again. It is a cute Pac-Man ghost stories. So the ghosts are telling like ghost stories. I just think it's so cute. It's my favorite like Halloween era shirt. But it's relevant tonight because we're drinking the Jackman barrel pick. So that is not available. I don't take credit for this. But if you do want to get some Bourbon Bytes merch, bourbonbytes.threadless.com. Like, not how I just said it, but how Donnie actually typed it down below. I'm actually planning a few other... I'm planning a few more shirt ideas before the holidays. So make sure to bookmark that if you are curious about something. I'll let y'all know when those come out. I have a few fun ideas. All right, so let's get to the whiskey. I'm going to start, like I said, have not tried any of these Fusion Series 8 or 9. So I'm going to actually pour both of them at the same time. I'll be tasting them individually, but I will be doing a bit of comparing tonight because I feel like, not that you have to compare them because they are different batches, but these are really fun. I'll here in a minute. So Fusion Series 8, it'd be great to know what proof this one is. This one doesn't actually tell me. Now, okay, I'm gonna have to Google which proof is which. They don't have the proof listed here. Let's see, Fusion Series 8. There we go. Let's see. So Series 8 is... Yes. So Series 8, where's the proof? Come on, tell me a proof now. 95.5. There we go. This is 8. They don't have this. They don't have the batch number on the bottle, so I was confused. So, all right. So these are really fun because these are both equal parts of Bardstown Bourbon Company's own juice. So 30% of each of these are a 12-year-old Kentucky bourbon. But the fun part is they're from two different distilleries, and I'm really excited to try these side by side. So I'm going to go ahead and get these poured, and then I'm going to tell you about them. So let's go and get these cracks. Like I said, fresh cracks. Have not had these yet. Great question, Reg. So if anyone's curious, you have a chance to win one tonight. But if you are curious about how to get a Bourbon Bytes challenge coin, actually, here's the info here. I actually didn't know I had this typed up. So if you look down below the scrolling banner, if you send me $18 via Venmo, that includes shipping to all over US. By the way, shipping rates have gone up. It literally cost me $2 more to ship than it cost me last week. So, but the price, I didn't change the price. The price is the same. $18, you get the coin. They are metal. People have asked me $18 seems steep, but they are metal. So they did cost a lot more to make than the ceramic ones you've seen or some plastic ones. Really, this is basically supporting me the same way you would be supporting me in a super chat. Like I get a small cut of it. So if you guys do want them, yeah, you can order multiples. If you order like multiples, if you're interested in ordering multiples, just message me. I could probably shave a few bucks off of that because I'm going to be shipping them together. So gotta make sure I cover my costs. But yeah, if you guys are interested, they are really cool. Like I'm really big fan of them. So I'm a fan of them, even though I made them. But I'm a fan of them. But thanks for the question. I'll leave that banner up there just for a minute in case anyone's interested. All right. So let's go ahead and get these two poured. Like I said, I want to have them poured at the same time. Give them both a fair shot. I definitely did not grab a napkin, and I've already made a spill. Wonderful, wonderful. It's great. You're off to a good Thursday night stream when you're already spilling whiskey, and you're not even 20 minutes in. All right. So I got the Fusion 8 poured. I'm going to pour the Fusion 9, and I'll tell you all a little bit about it. How do I pour this without making a mess is what I want to know. I'm trying to use a jigger because I'm trying to measure, keep it even, control my pours. I tend to go crazy on these Thursday nights, so... But I also should have grabbed a napkin. That is a fail on my part. So let's get... Brandon said, your wingman will be back soon. Yes. Although I had... what's funny? I had a napkin sitting over here earlier, and I saw it, and I got it. It was from last week, and I was like, I didn't use that napkin last week. And instead of me just leaving it here, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to use this napkin to, clean up, something random in the house. I'm like, I'm going to be resourceful. I'm going to use this napkin. Not thinking about the fact that I could have just saved it for tonight because I knew I was inevitably going to spill something, and I do not have a backup napkin. Nope. So we're just going to let that be. All right. So both of these are poured. That's a good point, Donnie. He said fuel costs are rising, which could explain the higher shipping costs. Yeah. I just know when I sent out samples for the last giveaway winner, it was like $2 more. I'm like, wow, that's a big jump. Yeah, so Dusty Dan said, can't wait to see your thoughts on these. I reviewed the 8 and about to do the 9. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't watch any reviews. I didn't want to have any bias, so I'll definitely check that out after. Yeah, so thank you all y'all helping out. They are really cool coins. I'm glad that other people agree. I'm not just saying that to toot my own horn. I just want to, in case anyone picks one up, I just don't have my phone just in case to give y'all a little shout out, but yeah. So well, Rex Lugo says hoping to win a coin. LOL. Well, you know what? You just increased your odds very, very much. Yeah, like I said, the giveaway tonight, I'm giving away a coin along with these samples. So, cheers. You are in for the wheel of whiskey. All right. So let's talk about these Fusion series. So we'll start with the first one. The first one is, like I said, the proof on it is 47.75, so 95.5 proof. So I have a little graphic here. Series 8. So here is the actual blend for this one. So 58% of it is Bardstown Bourbon Company, 4-year-old high rye bourbon. 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley. 12% is another 4-year Bardstown Bourbon Company, but it is a lower rye. It's a different mash bill, basically. It has a lot more malted barley and a little less rye. So that's going to be an interesting addition. Lastly is 30% of a Kentucky bourbon. Now, those of you nerds out there that know mash bills may recognize this mash bill. Is that ringing any bells to anyone? Now, they can't confirm or deny where this whiskey actually comes from, but it is a 12-year-old at this mash bill. Any guesses? I got my guesses. I'm just curious what you guys think, but I'm excited for this one. 30% of it is a 12-year-old Kentucky bourbon. That's a pretty significant amount. I'm really hoping those flavor notes come through on this one. Nimrock says, getting you back for the shipping overage there. Oh, man, you don't have to do that, but thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hey, you might win again tonight, so you'll owe me for shipping perpetually. Just every week, you just got to pay me shipping costs. I'm just kidding. George Watts is in the house. What's up, George? Good to see you. Kelsey is in for the giveaway. Kelsey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. Good luck to you. And we'll do the Wheel of Whiskey, like I said, at the end of the stream tonight. So this is the mash bill. I know y'all are all checking your mash bill guides. I'll save you the fun. This is the same mash bill as Heaven Hill's mash bill they used for Elijah Craig. So we're talking about a 12-year-old Heaven Hill mash bill. Now, it's not cast strength. This is lower proof. This is down to 95.5. I don't know why I keep forgetting that. It's also not on my little cheat sheet here. But yeah, so this one says 2 vibrant high rye Kentucky bourbons are beautifully balanced by a bold 12-year Kentucky expression. The round mouthfeel leads to sizzle and spice on the palate, making this fusion a unique, standout blend. So, I'll leave that up for a moment, but let's go ahead and give Fusion Series 8 a nose. Ooh. It's definitely like a good balance, because at first it does strike me as like you can tell there's some younger whiskey in there, although it is coming of age. 4 years for their distillate, it's a lot better than it's been in the past couple years. Now, the price on these are $65 each, which is what it's been for a while. And that's where, someone said earlier in the chat that they think they're overpriced. I think sometimes I've felt that way because they've tasted kind of young. I'm really hoping that 12-year Kentucky and the fact that these have come to be 4 years old have really helped out with that. We'll see, though. Like I said, on the nose, it does smell a little young. But there's a nice, oakiness there that I think is probably coming from that older whiskey. And that's what's the beauty of the Fusion series, right? They're not claiming that this is their own distillate. They're blending their distillate because they know it's young, and they're putting it with some older stuff. And I think that's really cool. Like, they're talented at blending and making whiskey. That's some massive amounts of talent that I don't have. It's like, there's the master blenders and there's the master distillers. Well, they got a little bit of both here at Bardstown. All right. On the nose, like I said, it's sweet up front. It's less of a corn sweetness. It's almost got a lot more of the rye kick on it, which, these are high rye bourbons. But there's a nice oakiness that's kind of backing it up. So let's go and give it a taste. Cheers, y'all, and thank y'all all so much for watching tonight. And whenever you're watching the replay. That's really balanced. I was gonna actually just double check the cheat sheet that I had here just to make sure I'm saying the right distillery, because I know the other ones also. Yeah, I'm right. Well, I don't know for sure if I'm right, but I think it's probably Heaven Hill. I did like that first sip. Again, first impressions, giving y'all my honest opinion, that tasted really balanced. It didn't taste young, even though it kind of smelled a little young. It does have some of the sweeter, less of like the darker like caramel note, and more of like a lighter, sweeter like vanilla extract. Go in for a second taste. Yeah. Wow. I'll just say, first impression, it's better than the last Fusion series I had. I can't remember if that was 5 or 6. I think it was 6. I like this one better. Did not have 7. But this is actually a big step up from 6. 6 was the one that kind of let me down a little bit. I'm trying to put my cheat sheet here. Don't have room on my desk. Mainly because I spilled stuff all over half my desk. So, I'm trying to think of a way to describe it, because it does taste a bit... I don't know the best way to say this without it sounding bad. You can taste its parts. How about that? It doesn't taste like, oh, this is a single barrel of a bourbon, right? To me, it tastes like you get that sweetness up front, the lighter vanilla, less intense, more sweet, and I don't want to say new because that doesn't make sense, but like the sweeter note that you get on a younger whiskey is there. But there's a really nice oakiness on the back end. Now, would I be able to tell you if it's Heaven Hill or not? No. But it does taste like a really well-aged bourbon is blended into this, and that's the beauty of the Fusion series, like I said. It's... Well, now that I think about it more, when I was saying with the vanilla extract, and the fact that I think it might be Heaven Hill as part of the blend, it does kind of remind me of some of those baked good notes that I always associate with Heaven Hill. Not necessarily fruity. If there's any fruitiness, it's more of like it's like a cherry pie. It's got the toastiness of like the crust, but it also has some of those cherry notes, like a sugar cherry blend, like maybe cherry jam or something like that. Like what do you call it when you like have like cherry pie filling? I didn't want to call it pie filling because that's so generic, but like more of that like blend of like the sweeter cherry filling. That's really nice. I like that on first sip. I'm really enjoying that one. I'm overwhelmed by all the stuff on my screen. All right, so I saw a few people come in. Where did we go?
Have you guys? I know I saw someone said they had 8 and I lost it. Oh, there it is, George. He said I have a bottle of 8 and I like it. Yeah, I think that's a big improvement over the last one I had. It's, for $65, it is lower proof, but I would say it doesn't drink that low proof. It drinks like it has a nice bite on it. I don't think I would think this is cask strength, but I would probably guess like 110 if I were to just blind it. But it's a really nice balance of those sweeter notes and the oak. I recommend that. $65, you gotta think Byte-Sized Bourbon Company is still a craft distillery. The distillate they're making, they're still in their very, very early days. So they're gonna have to have a bit more of a cost, an overhead cost with this. And only 30% of it is that sourced whiskey. So 70% of this is their own distillate. For a small craft distillery, even though they got big bucks behind them and they're like one of the most popular ones in Kentucky, I don't think they're on the Bourbon Trail, but they're like right in the center of everything there in Bardstown. I think it's a fair price. I do recommend Series 8. We'll see how that compares to Series 9. Bill is here from Dungeons and Drams. So Bill is our dungeon master. If y'all don't know, I play a game of D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, with several other whiskey tubers every Monday night at 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. It'll be me. It'll be Jason from the Mash and Drum. Of course, Bill from the Whiskey Dick is our dungeon master. Ed from the Rock Gut Review, and our friend Molly from Hugging the Cactus, plus a very new player to our team, Adriana from Whiskey Mountains. She has joined our party. She has kept us alive many a time, and her dog Booker too. It's just so much fun. Hope to see y'all on Monday nights. It's an absolute blast. So if someone can drop the link down below to Dungeons and Drams, definitely follow us. There's a Patreon where you get access to some of the maps from the world, to this really cool like not wiki, I guess, of the world that Bill's building. It's just so much fun, and he's putting so much work into it. So please go support us. So support him, but support us on Monday nights. So cherry more of like a stewed, macerated. That's the word I was looking for. Macerated. I knew it wasn't masticated, and it definitely wasn't the other M word that sounds like that. But macerated is the word I was looking for. Thank you for that. Man. Byte-Sized Bourbon Company weeded bourbon will be amazing when it releases. Oh, I bet. So in this blend, what do we have here? What are we dealing with? No, this is their rye mash bill, so this is not the weeded one. But I've not tried any of their weeded stuff, but we might get a little taste of it with this next one, is all I gotta say. Jeffrey Wack is in the house. He said fusions are getting better and better. Really like the 7. Yeah, 7 was the one I missed. I think I don't think I had 7. Watch me stand corrected and like have reviewed it. Let's see. Let's see what I was when I searched Bourbon Bytes Bardstown Fusion. Maybe I'm just getting my timeline wrong. No, I had Series 5. Did not have Series 7. I don't think I even had Series 6. Fusion Series 6. Oh, I did have Series... Nope, that wasn't me. That was someone else. So I have not had it since Fusion Series 5. So that's a big jump in years. So I'm really glad to see that Series 8 is a winner. So, let's move on to Series 9, because I do want to do a little side-by-side with these two. So, let's have another sip of 8 just to make it fresh on my palate. By the way, we're at the halfway point. Y'all want to get in on some samples of these and the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Fruit picks that I helped pick. Make sure to get your entries into the Wheel of Whiskey. Every $5 super chat is an entry. So, let's go and get one more taste of this one. Really like that one. That's an absolute winner. All right. Let's move on to Fusion Series 9. This is the latest release. I have not seen any reviews of it. I know a few other channels have gotten it. So I might be one of the first to review it. I don't know, maybe. At least on YouTube. So if someone's coming to the review just to watch my thoughts on it, you came to the right place. Hopefully you skipped around, or if you didn't and you're enjoying it so far, come back for more. Subscribe. I'm here every Thursday night. So let's pull up the info sheet for Fusion 9. So this one, again, you'll see a similarity here. There's 30% of a Kentucky 12-year-old bourbon. However, this mash bill's a little bit different. Does anyone recognize this mash bill? Some of you, that might be really, really familiar. But in addition to that, we have a 48% of their high rye mash bill, which is the same one that was here. So in Series 8, that was 58% of the blend. This one is 48%. And there is 22% of a 4-grain Bardstown Bourbon Company whiskey. So this is 60% corn, 26% rye, 10% wheat, and 4% malted barley. So that is a 4-grain Bardstown Bourbon Company. And lastly is that 30% 12-year Kentucky bourbon. Does anybody guess the mash bill? Let's see if someone's a nerd like I am. Thank you, Emily, for dropping the link to D&D as well as Jeffrey Wack and Kelsey's new channel. I will say the mash bill is very similar to one of those. Just one of them. Any other guesses? Alexander's onto something. Or Al's onto something. I'm just kidding. Don't unsubscribe, please. I appreciate you. That one that looks very familiar isn't what you think it is when it comes to Bardstown Bourbon Company. That's a great point, Fred. Do you care to elaborate? Because this could, again, these are all guesses. They don't confirm anything. I'm just saying that mash bill is the same. Is that? Oh no, I'm sorry. I only said it because you told me. That's totally your fault. So, although Dustin said Bernheim used it too. Oh, interesting. So yeah, so we don't know for sure. I'm just gonna take a guess and think that it might be Jim Beam. If y'all know different, let me know in the comments below if you're watching the replay or over there. But again, we don't get confirmation. I'm just guessing based on the mash bill. Let's go and give Fusion Series 9 a nose. Joseph said it's Beam unless it's Bernheim. Interesting. Okay. So Bernheim Distillery, like that's a Heaven Hill owned one, which would make sense since the other one's Heaven Hill. But are they doing that mash bill? That's interesting. I've not heard of that. Them doing that one. Again, I'm just a guy from Southern California. I don't know. I'm just going off my cheat sheet. On the nose. Oh, Fred's got some info. He says, you're right that it's a Beam mash, but when it comes to Bardstown Bourbon Company, it's historically been contract distilled from Buffalo Trace. That's really interesting, Fred. I had no idea about that. We'll see if I get some of those notes, or if I get some of the Beam notes. Like I said, I have not tried it. That is really interesting. So just keep it in the back of your mind. Like I said, nothing confirmed. But comparing the nose to the 8, so I got these both poured at the same time. It makes it a really interesting comparison because when you go back to Fusion Series 8, the nose is completely different than when I got off it the first time. So let's talk about 9 first, though. 9 has a different level of oakiness. So I will say it smells similar up front. It has some of that sweetness. It's less of the rye sweetness, and it's more back into like the corn, maybe even the wheat territory. The rye does not shine on this one. It's not like a rye forward mash or blend. But I will say it has a bit more of a grain forward note, which doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. Sometimes it's been associated with some younger whiskey. I will say it's less disguised by the 12-year-old bourbon that's in here, wherever it's from. It's a little less disguised by that. There is some youthfulness on this one on the nose. There's also a bit of like a mint. Not like a rye mint, but like I want to say like a bubblegum mint. Or like a... Because I normally say like spring... No, not spring, but... I say spearmint sometimes, but I usually associate that with the rye. I don't know. It's got a little minty quality to it. I'll stop lingering on that. But to be legal, you have to say allegedly. Well, I'm not a brand rep. I'm just a humble guy reviewing this whiskey that was sent to me by the brand. So I'm allowed to say whatever I want. I could crap on this whiskey if I want to, but if it says Buffalo Trace, might as well just double the price right there. Well, they can't say Buffalo Trace, but you never know. Rex said the first time I was able to pick up a mint note on a whiskey was when I had Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye. Oh, you're right. That does have that note. It does have a minty note to it. I haven't had that bottle in a while, but I do recall that. I reviewed it on my podcast. Very cool. All right. Enough jabbering. Let's go ahead and try Fusion Series 9. Cheers. Very different. What the first thing this one... Oh, there's like a toast... Sorry. It's like changing a bit now that I've tasted it. Up front, there's a bit of a... I don't want to say bitter note, but there's a bit of a sour note. I guess sour note's the way to put it. I've got it on some other whiskeys that have used like some different wood finishing. Like recently I had the Barrel Vantage that had Mizunara cask as part of the finishing process. There's a little bit of like a sour, funky wood on there. And it's definitely different than the oakiness I was getting on the Series 8. Series 8 was your traditional oakiness you get on any well-aged bourbon. This one, though, I gotta have a second sip on that one, because that one's definitely interesting to me. So up front, it's still a little grain forward. Sweet. There's definitely some corn influence. The mash bill. Oh, I don't know why I'm looking at it. It's literally on my screen right now. There's a good bit of corn in this. All of the mash bills, there's one that has 60% corn, but there's a lot of corn in this. And I think you can tell that some of that grain quality is coming from that corn, especially probably the 4-year coming from Bardstown Bourbon Company. But it goes more of like a buttery popcorn note on the finish. Right after you get past that wood characteristic there. Very different than 8. I can't believe how different these are. I mean, they are different mash bills and there are from different distilleries, the source stuff is, but extremely different whiskey. Dustin said, Old Lagavulin has amazing mint notes. You know what's funny? I've actually tried Old Lagavulin. I did a stream with my friend Aaron where it was an April Fool's themed flight, and there were some really cool old whiskeys in that flight. Y'all definitely check out the replay. I think you just search like Scotch April Fool's flight on my channel, you'll find it. But yeah, had some really great old whiskey on that flight. And Joseph brings up a great point, because I was avoiding reading this because I didn't want to spoil it with tasting notes, but there's a little bit of info here on this one. So on the actual card they sent me, it says, our Fusion series concludes with an exquisite blend of nuanced Kentucky bourbons. Throughout the series, we've showcased the best of our estate distilled bourbon with carefully curated aged whiskey. Enjoy the special sign-off with our favorite creation to date. So Fusion Series 9 is their favorite creation. I think that's interesting, because I don't necessarily feel like it's my favorite. I didn't make it, but just as a person drinking it. And I'm going to go back to 8, and I think I might be able to find out why once I go back to 8. Let me remove that graphic up there so we don't get it confused. All right, so going back to 8, and this is what I was about to say earlier about the nose. Fusion Series 8, going back to the nose, has a really nice tobacco note. Not like burnt tobacco, not like you're smoking a cigar, like you're beside someone smoking a cigar. None of that smoke, but more of the tobacco leaves. And I didn't get that on first taste or the first time through. I didn't have a chance to compare it to anything because it was the first pour of the night. But now that I've tried another pour, yeah, the nose on 8 is that tobacco that it does smell like a more vintage bourbon than a 4-year-old. I mean, the majority of this whiskey is 4 years old, but I wouldn't be able to tell you that on the nose. I'm gonna try that one again. Yeah, definitely tobacco. It also still, now that I've tried the sweeter one, which is the 9, the 9 is the sweeter whiskey. On the 8, I'm losing a bit of the fruitiness, the cherry that I was getting on it a bit earlier. To me, it's still got that toastiness. It's got like or not toastiness, sorry, pie crust, like a toasted pie crust, not like a toasted barrel, but like a toasted, like a little bit. You got the crust a little burnt around the edges. It has a little bit of that note, and I do like that. That's a really good note for me, especially typically assuming this is most likely Heaven Hill. I'm getting all the things I love about that their bourbon, and I think it blends really well with the Bardstown Bourbon Company distillate that's in here. I did say earlier on that I feel like I can tell that there's a blend versus like this is a single barrel. I still feel that way. I do think it's not the most cohesive is not the right word. I know I've used that word. Some of you guys like that word. Some of you guys don't like the word, but to me, it doesn't feel like it's one piece, one round bourbon. It feels like a blend, and that's not a bad thing when it comes to bourbon. Yeah, I'm a fan. I really like Fusion 8. Going back to 9, giving it one more shot, and then we're going to get to the Jack Daniels. I know a lot of y'all here are for the Jack Daniels. Promise I'm going to get to it. I just figured this is the one that like no one, that you guys might have a chance of buying a bottle of, so I wanted to be thorough with the review. The Jack is not completely sold out, I don't think. I think they're holding some bottles back, but it's pretty close. So you're more likely to get these. Let me go back to the 9, which is their favorite yet. So 9 to me, it almost feels like a more experimental one. And I think with the Fusion series, that was their goal all along, right? To experiment with blending older whiskey with their own distillate. It's not bad by any means. It's just not my favorite flavor profile. To me, it shows its youth. It's showing a bit of that younger element that I got on the 5. It feels like if you were thinking they were getting better with age and they were getting better and older and like more mature and more well blended, I think this takes a step back in that department, but it's a step forward in terms of experimenting because it does have that unique note that I normally associate with Mizunara cask. And knowing that this isn't that makes me really interested. So I'm really curious to hear anyone that comes to this and watches the replay and has already tried it. Do you feel the same way, or am I just crazy? Is this the best thing they've ever done? I still think it's good. I just would prefer the 8 over the 9. It's more up my alley with what I like with the bourbon. That being said, I do want to come back to these on the Hangout tonight. By the way, if y'all don't know, I do an after-party Hangout for everyone $10 and up on Patreon. And I want to come back and see what I feel about these after they sit for the rest of the stream. Because we have 2 Jack Daniel's single barrel proofs coming up next. Jackman, which is not visible on this green screen. And 1-Up Barrel. These are from the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club. Our friends Jason and Scott, they were so kind to invite me to be part of the pick. And I have not tried these since I did the pick. So what I'm going to do a thing that I don't like doing on a stream. I'm going to get 2 new Glens because I only brought out 2. I thought I would finish these, but I took my time with them a bit longer than I thought. So I'm going to grab 2 Glens. Give me 15 seconds. If I'm not back in 15 seconds, you guys can just leave. But give me 15 seconds. You got me? I'm going to put a timer. I'm going to cut this off. When this timer hits 15, I will be back. Let's see how well I do. I'm going to gamify this. Ready? Set. Go. Bam, 16. I didn't want you guys to like leave. Okay, 2 new Glens. The Glens have been procured. One is from our friend Independent Joe, which by the way I think he and I are going to be collaborating sometime soon. And then another's from Blind Barrels, which I did a stream with them a few months back. All right. Brandon says, should I bring my bottle from France to compare these two? Heck yes, you should. Oh no, people left. They didn't trust me. They didn't trust. I like how I pointed to the viewer. Y'all can't see that. Y'all have the view counter somewhere else, but for me, it's up there. Okay, Donnie. Okay. Oh, I thought you were criticizing me. I'm like, I was 1 second off. No. Okay, I got you. Thank you, Donnie. All right, so we're gonna pour both of these Jack Daniel's single barrel picks. I did have a favorite when we did the pick. Like I said, I put the link down below to the stream where we actually did the pick. But I'm going to see how I feel about it now that it's been several months later. So we're going to pour the Jackman in our Independent Joe glass. I'm probably pouring too much. It's probably the issue here. Probably is it on. You know, I could have grabbed a napkin while I was up because I told you earlier that I did not have a napkin. But that would have added time and I would have missed my goal there. So did not grab that. Would have been smart though. If Cliffy was not thinking like Cliffy, that would have been a great idea. Swan said, I didn't leave. I love you. Well, thank you. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you to all of you for sticking around. I got you, Johnny. I'm sorry I read that wrong. All right, so Jackman has been poured. If y'all want to see the actual logos without the green screen issues, make sure to check out the thumbnail. I have them in there. All right, and now we're pouring the 1-Up Barrel, which was our extra life. So the story behind that was we thought we were only going to get 1 barrel. So we, most of us fell in love with Jackman. We just thought it was such a unique flavor. It just was really one of the most interesting Jack Daniel's barrel proof I've ever had. So one of us really liked another barrel. And I think all of us put that barrel in our second place. All the ones that didn't love it best put it in our second place. We all loved it. So we thought we were only going to get the 1 barrel. But no, someone pulled some strings somewhere and we got both barrels. So Jackman is the barrel that was number 1 for a lot of us. But the 1-Up, the extra life, was great too. So I'm so glad that we got both. I'm glad to do a little comparison. Yeah, so I see some people popping in here. Bourbon Bill says some Jack Daniel's single barrel proof store picks are my favorite. Love them. They are generally older than the shelfers. Yeah, so I got I got some info here. I don't know if I'm supposed to be sharing this info. I got some info about the age. We'll talk about it, but please don't sue me. I'm only providing this third party. You didn't hear it from me. I didn't pick this. What are you talking about? I had no part in this pick whatsoever. Brandon, I can't add to the poll, but I love that idea. We'll keep it in mind. Yeah, he did. But he pulled some strings and he made it happen. So again, we all put it in our second place. It's not like we all hated the other barrel. I just thought there was something special about the Jackman barrel that I had never experienced before. But we'll see. We're going back to them both tonight. So here's the info I have on these barrels. Again, I don't know if I'm supposed to be sharing this info with you. Also, a reminder that whoever wins tonight's giveaway is going to get samples of both of them, so you can actually compare them side by side, and then report back to me and let me know which one you prefer best. Dave R. or Dav R. says, "Are we able to send you a blind?" Absolutely. I love doing blind flights. I feel like I don't say that enough. You guys are welcome to send me anything, almost anything. You guys are. Please don't send me your used underwear. That's not cool. I don't know why that was the first thing that came to mind, but sorry, not to put you on the spot. But anyways. Yes, if you guys want to send me a flight or something that you've been enjoying and you want me to review, or something that you absolutely hate and you want me to review, you can shoot me a message on Instagram. Instagram is @Bourbon Bytes, or send me an email, contact@bourbonbytes.com. It's on my channel if you want to find the email address later. But yeah, send me that. I'll send you the info to send it to my mailbox to pick that up. And yeah, I would absolutely love to do a flight that you guys send me. So thank you so much for the entry. You are entered into the Wheel of Whiskey giveaway. You have a chance to win samples tonight. So thank you so much, Dave R. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but yes. Thank you so much. Lightly used edible. Oh, well, okay. Edible underwear, I'm okay. No. Oh, God. Ew. Oh, I just thought about that. Oh, no. No, thank you. Anyways, back to the whiskey. Donnie wants some of that underwear. I'm just kidding. He said, in and hoping from Jack Daniel's single barrel proof samples. Yes. Thank you, Donnie. And you are now entered. Freudian slip there. I guess it is a Freudian slip. I mean, I very obviously said it. I just don't know why it's the first thing that came to mind. My Cliffy's brain, sometimes I worry about it. I really do. All right. And I was okay. I was about to say, like, have you guys been watching Dahmer on Netflix? I'm like, oh God, no, I'm not making that comparison. I think it's really interesting. Like, I think Evan Peters like nailed the character, and I like love how you kind of feel his thought process. What am I saying? Shut up and drink whiskey is what I should be saying to myself. All right, let's give Jackman a nose. Cliffy is here, absolutely. Y'all know it's. I mean, I've been drinking for 50 minutes, so. All right. I think on the nose, this is every bit as amazing it was when I picked it. I think this is the one that we call the jam. This was like a actual jammy bourbon. Tennessee whiskey. I don't have anything to say about the nose. I just want to go for a drink. Cheers. Please erase the last 5 minutes from your mind, please. I was gonna impersonate the voice. I'm like, I'm not pushing this hole any deeper. Oh gosh. Yes. I'm so glad. I was a bit worried because this was bottled, a little bit after we actually did the pick. It was bottled in June. So it sat in the barrel for a few more months, 3 more months after we picked it. But it is amazing. It is literally probably the best Jack Daniel's single barrel proof I've ever had. And Brandon, you can back me up on that when you get here to try it. It has such unique characteristics. It has a little bit of the banana, but not the typical banana that you would get on a Jack Daniel's. Like, it's at the very back. To me, this one is all up front with a different fruitiness. It's like a jam, like I said, like a strawberry jam. Wow. And it's got a little bit of like a toasted bread note too. I mean, this is peanut butter jelly sandwich just all day. Holy crap. I wish I could share this with all of you. It's just really that good. The show is so freaking dark. I'm glad to hear you guys say that. Dahmer is one of the best and saddest series I've been through. I'm still a few episodes away from the end. I think I got like 3 episodes left, but we're taking our time with it. But yeah. Fred, you call it me. I realized after I said that I definitely fucked up that phrase. I should have said dug a deeper hole, because it would have definitely gone with the Dahmer thing. But also pushing deeper also goes with Dahmer. Moving on now. If I ever meet Cliffy, I will have... No, please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Fun fact, one of Evan Feeder's first roles was in The Office as the nephew to Michael Scott, who got spanked in the nepotism episode. Have not watched The Office, but did he show his butt? Because I swear, everything that Evan Peters has ever been in, you know, you get to see his ass, and I love it. He's got a nice butt. Now, whether you're not into guys or not, he's got a nice butt. If you're into guys, he's got a really nice butt. Anyways, moving on. Kevin Stoker, thanks for the great content. Well, I'm glad somebody thinks so, because I think I'm going off the rails here. I gotta get to my last one. We got we're gonna do the Wheel of Whiskey spin in about 3 minutes, so last call for entries. Y'all all have been entered. 3 more minutes if y'all want to get in on that. I saw a comment earlier I didn't want to miss. He said, I can give some samples tonight as well. Had a couple good drinks tonight. Oh, well, I appreciate that. Yeah. Just shoot me a message, like I said, Instagram or email, and definitely do that. And I'll definitely, of course, give you a shout out and let you know when I'll do the stream. So much fun. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. This went sideways so quickly. Well, that's what happens when you show up to a Bourbon Bytes stream. That's just the way it goes sometimes. All right. We're going to taste our last whiskey of the night. We have the one up barrel. I was gonna say the mushroom barrel, but I was like, it's such a, you know what? We're peeling back the magic curtain. We're showing you this label because they're so cool. I'm gonna show you both labels. People have watched this long. They at least we're about to pull them. It's not real, y'all. Oops, wrong button. No, shit. I lost y'all. Hold on. Can y'all see me? I fucked this up last time. I know how to fix it, but just let me know you can see me. I pressed the wrong button that I pressed last time, and y'all lost me. So let me know if you can see me. I was trying to do this. I'll show you the bottles if I can see you, or if I can see. Man, this whiskey hit me hard. That's what I get for not drinking before the stream. Donnie says, I want a couple more chances. Thank you for clarifying, Donnie. You got it. You got it. Thank you so much. All good. Thank y'all. All right. So the first one that we just finished drinking was this one. And that is the Jackman. Look at that. That is so cool. It has the names of everyone that did the pick, of course, along with Jason and Scott. So much fun. And then the bonus life barrel. 1-Up barrel, extra life. This is barrel number 222204. So, that's your look at the labels. They are so cool. OMG, you're not actually in a purple tinted movie theater lobby. It's supposed to be an arcade, Joseph. Have you never been to an arcade in the 80s? I imagine you probably have. That sounded really rude. I mean, it was kind of meant to be a little rude, but not as rude as it was. All right. Let's bring back the arcade, shall we? All right. Y'all see me? We're all good? All right. So, yeah, the nose on this one is very different. I think, you know what, comparatively, the first one was, I said there was a jammy. I think this one's more jammy. The first one is more toasty. It's got a little bit more of that nuttiness, more of the actual toasted bread. Whereas the 1-Up barrel is definitely more of the jam. All right, let's try it. Cheers. That one drinks hot. By the way, I didn't mention the proofs. The proof of Jackman is 127.7 proof. The proof of 1-Up is 129.9 proof. So we're going up a full 2.2 proof points. You can tell. That's hot. I mean, to me, this one tastes like a really good Jack Daniel's barrel proof pick. I think it tastes similar to other ones I've had. And that's not a bad thing at all. I just think this is more in line with what you would expect for these. So if you're a huge fan of these normally, you're going to love the 1-Up barrel. I think the Pac-Man or Jackman takes it to the next level. Hot video game reference, get it? I think to me, it tastes like a completely different whiskey, but one that is just everything I love about whiskey. This one, again, super solid, delicious Jack Daniel's single barrel proof pick. It's got a really cool sticker too. And it's also hot, 129.9. Holy crap. More of the traditional banana, a little bit of banana there. The good banana, not like the fake banana, like a roasted banana nut bread. Roasted, baked banana nut bread is what I'm trying to say. But still very good. I think to me the winner is what I thought the first time. Jackman, It's just such a delicious, so unique, so different. Yeah. Jackman is toasty. It has a little bit extra bit of smoke there too. And man, peanut butter deliciousness. I don't think I've ever gotten peanut butter on Jack Daniels. That's a absolute winner. That's my favorite Jack Daniels barrel proof I've ever had. Stand by it. So if you got your hands on a bottle, let me know in the comments below. Do you agree or do you not, or do you prefer the 1-Up barrel? Because I know they're different palates. I know Jason really loved the 1-Up barrel, but man, to me, this is Jack perfection. I see some super chats coming here. Okay, we're cutting off the giveaway now. So I know I just want to make sure I have everyone entered that wants to enter. So Donnie says a blend of the two would be toast and jam. Yes, and I think we said that when we did the pick. I'll blend them on tonight's after party. I'm done drinking right now because I'm like, oh my god, I am Cliffy full throttle. Cliffy full throttle. So, Jack Daniels, Coy Hill, and BPR barrel proof reserve or release. Each Taylor barrel proof. Holy crap! 4 Roses 2021. Another sample will give a 1 ounce sample if you want. Yeah, man. Would absolutely love that. It sounds like so much fun. Thank you so much. I appreciate your generosity and kindness. Sofer's in for some samples. I know he wants these. Big Vic is also in. What am I winning tonight? Big Vic, you don't even know what you're winning, but you're entered. Well, okay. We are cutting off the Wheel of Whiskey now. Thank you everyone that entered tonight. That's like not a record, but this is one of the biggest Wheel of Whiskeys that I've spun here on the channel. Oh, barrel proof, right? Oh my god, I've tried that once. I had a bottle of it, but I tried a friend's that was even better than the bottle I had. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much for that. All right. Y'all ready for the Wheel of Whiskey? So for those of you that are watching the replay, I do this giveaway not every week, so it's just kind of a matter of how much of what I have to share with the crowd. But I just want to say thank you to everyone that's watching the replay. I appreciate y'all too in every sense of the way. I'm going to make sure I'm just going to fill some time here while I make sure I get everyone counted because I don't want to leave anyone off of this Wheel of Whiskey. Let me know what you guys are drinking in the chat. Did y'all move to Jack Daniels? Did I convince you to pour your Jack Daniels barrel proofs? I convinced myself to pour my Jack Daniels barrel proofs. Yeah, I mean, I just killed another bottle of this too. And not this pick, but another bottle of Jack Daniels barrel proof. And I'm just have to keep buying this regularly. It's just so good. Screw the haters that say, oh, it's not bourbon, it's Tennessee whiskey. Okay, but it's freaking amazing Tennessee whiskey. And we're not getting into that debate. We've had that several times on this channel. We're not getting into it, but I think it meets all the qualifications to be a bourbon. They just like their own branding, which is totally fair. So that's my opinion on it. I'm giving everyone their entries. Y'all are getting well represented tonight. Promise I'm not just ignoring the chat right now. I want to make sure everyone is entered. All right. So we got that all updated. Make sure. All right. So y'all ready for tonight's giveaway on the Wheel of Whiskey? Let me shuffle this a couple times. Hide that. Share my screen. I'm excited. This is going to be like one of the biggest ones we've done in a long time. So let me pull this up right about now. As we spin the wheel. Oh, there's echo in the room tonight. Wheel of whiskey. I appreciate the support, y'all. I love y'all. All right, let's add this to the stream. Good luck to everyone tonight. I got everyone counted. I double checked. We are good to go. Best of luck, everyone. Let's spin that wheel. That was a close one. Congratulations, Kevin. Thank you so much for your support tonight. I saw that the winner last week almost won again. That was really close. I was like, damn it, I should have saved on shipping. Kevin, congratulations. So to get your box, your hand delivered box, shoot me a message on Instagram at Bourbon Bytes or send me an email, contact@bourbonbytes.com. I'll get your shipping info send your shipping info over to me, and I'll get you your sample pack and your coin. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. Thank you so much for everyone that supported tonight, whether it was a super chat or you're a patron or you're interested in buying a coin. I know a few people said that they wanted to buy some coins. So, someone actually bought. No, wait, never mind. Someone just messaged me on Insta. Someone messaged me on Instagram. They probably want a coin. We'll figure that out. Okay. Thank you so much for everyone that tuned in tonight. As always, we're doing the after party hangout for everyone on Patreon. That's $10 and up. That's on our Discord server. So if you want to join our Discord server, whether you're a patron or not, everyone's welcome to join. The link down below to bourbonbytes.com is it's my link tree, and then at the bottom you'll see the Discord link. Such a fun community. I get to hang with you guys all throughout the week. We chat about all things, everything. All things, everything. That makes no sense. Says, don't forget to add my sample pack. Oh man, well, nice try. Come back next week, and there's a new winner every time I do the Wheel of Whiskey. I let y'all know at the beginning if I'll be able to do it. So cheers, everyone. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around for this fun doubleheader. If you're watching the replay, like I said, leave a comment below what your favorite was tonight. But until next time, this has been Bourbon Bytes. Cheers, and I'll see y'all next Thursday night. Have a good one. Bye.